believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. I'm David Sponheim, and I'm leading this effort to create a third party in America at America's Third Party. Today is Sustainable Saturday, and the goal is to actually get people to understand the need for a third party in the center of the political spectrum. And I know we've had a lot of problems with people just not wanting to leave their party. They cling to their party and they cling to the line of BS that their party projects. And the only way we're ever going to get accountability from our country is to separate from our party. The only way we're ever going to get any type of monitoring of the corruption going on in the two parties is to separate from our party. I know a lot of you QAnon supporters believe that Donald Trump is stopping the deep state, but he hasn't done anything to fire anybody who works in the deep state, except maybe Andrew McCabe. I mean, he was the one guy who was fired. But not going after Hillary, not going after Warren for lying about her Cherokee ancestry. Donald Trump is showing signs of not really protecting your interests. So I urge you to think about joining America's Third Party if you are concerned about the deep state. Now, I'm tracking some stuff on the right here that's very interesting. As much as I feel that William Taylor's testimony was important, there's a lot of dirt on this guy. Apparently, the Democratic Star Witness sat on the board of a Ukrainian NGO with deep ties to George Soros. That's very interesting. Apparently, everything's been scrubbed on the web about this guy. And he had an ambassadorship to Ukraine from 06 to 09. He was nominated by George W. Bush. And in the intervening 10 years, he stayed engaged with Ukraine, visiting frequently as a board member of a small Ukrainian non-governmental organization supporting good governance and reform. Well, Uncover DC can report that although it's been scrubbed almost entirely from the web, William Taylor spent several years on the board of a Ukrainian NGO called EEF, or East Europe Foundation, that is a strong partnership with Open Cities Association, which is funded by Open Governments Partnership, which accepts large donations of funding from George Soros' Open Society Foundation. We know that George Soros is deep into this and is protected on both sides of the political spectrum. We know that George Soros isn't even brought up. Donald Trump won't even talk about him. And in fact, he said, don't talk about that. Don't say those bad things about George Soros. George Soros gave Donald Trump $160 million for a loan to build some buildings in New York. And they're close. So George Soros is willing to play both sides, believe me, and that's a separate issue. But isn't that interesting about William Taylor questioning his complete veracity? And I'm of the belief that these guys did a pretty good job explaining what was going on. We're looking at 12 witnesses. This is the look of someone with 12 witnesses confirming the same thing. And this week we've got a witness who's a young woman who heard the speakerphone conversation of Donald Trump with Ambassador Sondland talk about a quid pro quo, but say at the same time, there's no quid pro quo, but I want to get the dirt on Joe Biden, or I'm not going to give the $400 million. So Donald Trump speaks with forked tongue. He says two separate things. He says, there's no quid pro quo, and then he went ahead and created a quid pro quo. So that's not acceptable. And if that comes out, we're very concerned that this is the story and how it rolls. Now, the confidence that he exuded, William Taylor, is evident in the smile that he said, in confidence that he knew exactly what was going on, even though he wasn't a direct witness. He was dealing with hearsay information. But his years of respected service to your nation and our nation has been exemplary. So we have to look at the big picture here and come up with a real analysis of what we're looking at. And I think so far, Donald Trump looks like he's guilty as hell. Now, Trump has begun a physical exam at Walter Reed, which is ahead of schedule. Trump is beginning portions of an annual physical exam. They say it happened before the schedule, so there's something, many people are guessing, of course, there's something that could predict a health exam. Now, the world is wondering, is Donald Trump okay? Is he suffering any heart disease problems, chest pain, blah, blah, blah? It may just be he, has a pimple he can't get rid of. Who knows? Let's wait for the doctor to decide what's going on and then get an assessment there. And if he gets a clean bill of health again, like he did from that alcoholic admiral that he had working there, that'll be great. He has been eating lots of cancer burgers and fish burgers and drinking diet sodas. That can't bode well for a person. As you know, I eat pure food, pure water. I drink pure organic coffee. I eat organic food, non-genetically modified food. So I'm living on a pretty clean diet. Occasionally I get a Costco salad, which I can't guarantee is free of pesticides. So, well, how could you turn down $3.99 for a big salad, So let's talk about the news and see what's happening in America. The ex-NSC official corroborates that Sondland said he was directed by Trump on the Ukrainian thing. Well, this will be another week of testimony. We'll be hearing from Sondland and his associates. Yeah. I'm having a hard time because there's a story that is just starting to get to the forefront, and that's the thugs that were working for Giuliani. Yeah, that's the story I really want to show you. Here it is, exclusive. After the private White House meeting, Giuliani's associate Lev Parnas said he was on a secret mission for Trump, according to sources. I'm going to play this CNN. I know a lot of you don't respect CNN, but it does talk about these two thugs that Giuliani hired. Pretty weird stuff. Watch this.
Know someone when it seems pretty clear, yeah, he does.
I don't know those gentlemen. Now, it's possible I have a picture with them because I have a picture with everybody. I don't know them. I don't know about them. I don't know what they do. But I don't know. Maybe they were clients of Rudy. You'd have to ask Rudy.
He is saying this about these two men, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. They have ties to the president's own personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and are charged with illegally funneling donations to U.S. political candidates. And Parnas, in particular, is apparently eager to talk impeachment to investigators about what he knows about Ukraine. And now, with CNN investigation, is turning up evidence that Trump has met with one or both of these men multiple times going back years. CNN K-Files senior editor Andrew Kaczynski is here with me. What did you find?
Yeah, so we found that the president has had 10 total interactions with these guys. And
10.
10 in total. The earliest was March 2014. He took a photo with Parnas at his club at Doral during a golf tournament before he ever ran for president. Latest was December 2018 at a White House Hanukkah party. Now, if we take these interactions in total, it really makes this claim that the president didn't know them. It doesn't seem true to me.
Okay, it doesn't seem true to him. It doesn't seem true to me. If he had 10 encounters with these thugs, I'm a little concerned. Yeah, we all are. I didn't know them. Anyways, these are the kind of thugs who've already been accused of getting illegal donations from Ukrainians to U.S. politicians. Now we do know a lot about Joe Biden getting money. And thanks to the Republicans' effort to reveal the truth about Joe Biden and his son Hunter, Hunter got money from China too. Believe me, Joe Biden and Hunter, that doesn't seem rosy either. Apparently, these types of thugs get money from foreign governments to control our politics. Well, look what I uncovered. A little known fact that Lindsey Graham is working with this Russian oligarch, an oil guy, and getting money in his campaign to get reelected. Lindsey Graham is getting $800,000 from people like this guy. And he's acquired $3 million in net worth over the past 5 years. No one can really account for except for maybe the Russians. Yeah. And then this story, Mitch McConnell. Fact check found that he got $2.5 million. Politicheck checked. PolitiFact got this information. He got $2.5 million and an additional $1 million from a Russian oligarch. So wait a second. This is getting a little too weird. We got thugs who are prosecuted for getting Ukrainian funds to U.S. elections. We got this guy on the take, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, and you Republicans think that you're rosy and that you've done nothing wrong. Moscow Mitch and Lindsey are both on the take. This is a nationwide scandal that's going to break open, and it's going to turn a lot of eyes toward the Senate, especially if the House deems Donald Trump is not fit to be president and impeaches him. Then we will see if these senators have to flip. Now, they'll get a lot of pressure for working for Russia. They're going to have to flip. In fact, there is a possibility that our country will see a sealed ballot in the upcoming Senate hearing to determine if Donald Trump should be impeached, if indeed he is impeached in the House. They only need 3 votes to get enough people to change the rules. Or actually, they could create their own rules for this impeachment. The Senate can do whatever they want to set up their rules. They only need 3 Republican votes to vote in favor of a sealed ballot. And that's when a lot of these people could flip on Donald Trump. And about 15 Republicans could move over and definitely impeach him. Now, assuming Trump's bill of health is clean for today, he's still on the track to fight for his position, whatever that is. Making $110 million a year from the White House is what he's been doing. He didn't need the $400,000, by the way. He gets $110 million a year from hotels and all the money that the Secret Service has to pay to guard him at his golfing events. Believe me, Donald Trump is making bank, nearly $500 million in 4 years as president. Well, he isn't really fit to be president. He wasn't even a good businessman. He borrowed all the money from oligarchs to keep going over the past 15 years. And when you look at Donald Trump's history, he got most of his money from his dad. He claims he only got $1 million from his dad, and someone traced $430 million surreptitiously moved through clandestine means from his dad's account to his. Okay. All the links here are ready for you. Here you go. I know you guys are big fact checkers. Let me give it to you. You can also go to my Twitter and get all these links too. I put them on one single Twitter feed. Excuse me. Here's the other one on Lindsey Graham. There you go. My Twitter feed has the whole story right there. Go to @thirdparty, you'll see it. I've got links to all this stuff. Right on. Oh, there you go. Okay, Sustainable Saturday. And today is a discussion about Prince Andrew. I know that a lot of people want to talk about Prince Andrew. There's no new development. Prince Andrew was willing to testify. He was willing to be interviewed, but no one ever called him. He claimed he didn't even know Virginia Giuffre Roberts Giuffre, but then it's pretty obvious he knew her because he was in pictures with her. And I guess they remember after they see the picture. She claims she was raped by him 3 times. And we're not getting any answers out of the media because according to one newscaster who went public, an ABC News journalist went public, that she's had to squash that story for 3 years, that the royal family told her at ABC, you can't talk about this stuff. She's been being quiet for literally 3 years. I can't file a lawsuit against a guy with $1 billion. You'd be foolish to do that. No. I'm not about to file a guy who made $1 billion censoring me. No way. I'd be foolish to do that. I can't control the censorship. There are no laws that prevent censorship in America. A country that claims to be free and democratic has not one single law. There was a law a long time ago called the Fairness Doctrine. It's no longer applicable and it's no longer in force. My rights, my freedom of speech is being violated, my equal protection of the law is being violated, but again, there's no laws to prevent censorship. A lot of you conservatives are seeing your YouTube channels getting knocked down, and there's no law protecting you at YouTube either. We need a U.S. ombudsman to fight at YouTube. We need somebody to represent the people, to oversee the hit counters and how many people are actually going to websites. YouTube has nobody watching over their back. They can do whatever they want, and they've been getting away with it for years. All right, I hope you're having a pre-Christmas or pre-Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone's getting ready for the big holidays here. Wow, lots of stories. The big story about Jeffrey Epstein last week was Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, that's not really the big story. The big story is Jeffrey Epstein's still alive. That's the big story. They won't talk about that. They're running this story instead. But according to his brother Mark, he wasn't trafficking women and he didn't kill himself. Okay. A lot of these women are victims of the Jeffrey Epstein thing. I can't trust Mark, by the way, Mark Epstein. I can't trust him. I think he's funneling money to Jeffrey.
Maybe like $200. It's this older guy in Palm Beach. He gets a lot of massages from girls. That was it.
They were recruited by someone who was adept at finding girls that would be willing to go to a house for a few $100s.
Yeah, he was trafficking kids. You're right. Not just women. Right. Kids. I know. And I think he still is. I think he's still engaged in a serious act of child trafficking out of his Epstein Island. And, I'm probably one of the few people in the country that even talk about this on a daily basis. I'm, as you know, controversial. My famous blackface video gives me that controversial aspect that everyone wonders, what am I going to say? Yeah, of course I support legalization and I support the rights of free speech to do impersonations like Justin Trudeau did. And there's no reason why people can't do that in America or in Canada for that matter. But what I'm here to talk about is the sighting of Jeffrey Epstein. He was seen 20 days after he allegedly died. Yeah. And here he is looking up at a drone that was flying over his head. They noticed a drone over their head, and that is Jeffrey Epstein. And that's his famous light blue shirt that he always wears. We have him in many light blue shirts. At that time when he was with Trump in 1992 on camera, he was wearing a light blue shirt. Very much was him. And the picture of his dead body does not match him at all. It just doesn't match him. The nose is curled. You can see a curve of the person's nose. And the nose, his nose was straight. His ear doesn't match. So all these things lead me to believe that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. And only a fool would think otherwise. I think the coroner that was in charge of this should be charged with a crime. Michael Baden, the second coroner, has finally said that it didn't look like a suicide, it looked like a murder. Well, yeah, this guy right here, you can see trauma on his chin and his neck. It looks like he was belted with a baseball bat, like he was killed. Seriously, that looks like head trauma. And why Michael Baden signed off initially is bizarre and suspicious. But to even say that that's Jeffrey Epstein is even more disturbing. And now we found out from Michael Baden that there was no DNA test confirming that that was Jeffrey Epstein. There was no DNA test. Yeah, let me get you the link. This is just amazing stuff. Bad protocol, bad coroner work, bad forensic work. It gets worse and worse as we look deeper into this. Yeah, let me look up DNA evidence. Hang on. Yeah, here's the bombshell right here. True Pundit has it. Epstein's medical examiner drops autopsy bombshell. No DNA test conducted to confirm Epstein's identity. Michael Baden says that there was no, said in a new interview that no DNA test was performed on Epstein to confirm the identity of his. Wow, this is the most slipshod thing I've ever seen. Here's the link to that too. Okay, Max, I'll get your link too. Let's get you. No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a centrist. You know that. You've been muted. Wow. Okay, we got prosecutors in Jeffrey Epstein's first case acted as if his underage accusers were prostitutes who got money for sex to buy clothes. Yeah, they grilled a 14-year-old in front of a grand jury because she was wearing skimpy outfits on her MySpace page. I remember that. Well, you know, former Secretary of Labor Acosta has openly said that he was told to back off of the prosecution of Epstein in 2007. I'm not unbranding him. I muted the guy for 5 minutes. He's making accusations that I'm a Democrat. That's just so wrong. No, that doesn't look like Epstein at all. How could you possibly say that was Epstein? No. That's ridiculous. Let's move on. His ears don't even match. That looks like Charlie Sheen sitting in the show with us in 2012 when I was doing a show with Sarah. Do you think Charlie Sheen was sitting with us in the show? Okay, wait a second. We got news right now from some weirdo that has... Seriously? Could you give me a link to claim any information about Donald Trump at Walter Reed? Thank you. We're still waiting on information about Walter Reed. Donald Trump decided to take his physical a little early. Yeah. I'm not going to quote what you said until you have proof. Our government lies all the time. Of course. What do you think fluoride in your water is all about? You're getting fluoridation in your water. And it's dangerous. It's a neurotoxin. Here's a story about Jeffrey Epstein that just came in from Max. Prosecutors in Jeffrey Epstein's first case acted as if his underage accusers were prostitutes who got money for it. Yeah, I'm just reading what you said here. Oh yeah, they basically backed off because Labor Secretary Acosta said that he was told Jeffrey Epstein is in the intelligence industry. That's not exactly something that, yeah. So if he was in the intelligence industry, they're already protecting him and they already put him back in his place. They never want him to get caught and they're putting him back in his place. The investigation of Jeffrey Epstein will continue for years to come. Believe me, it's not over yet. Fears that 5G weapon systems on UK streets are conspiracist takes apart light. Huh. Okay. Daily Star in the UK has this story. We're all concerned about the 5G networks and their danger. Okay, a person took apart a light and their fears the 5G weapon system on the UK streets are weaponized. Weapon system installed across UK, claims conspiracist. Streetlights installed with 5Gs are weapon systems being released in the UK streets, conspiracists claimed. over the last few months, claims have been made by that 5G systems could be harming the environment and the public. I've been making the same statement, that they could weaponize these for months now. Conspiracy, Anthony Steele claimed a whistleblower who works for the police has come to confirm it. Well, that's different. Anthony deconstructed a light he claims the whistleblower sent him a light so he could see its inner elements. While taking it apart, he said, this is a weapon system, nothing more than a weapon system. I know it's masquerading as a light, but it's a weapon. Whoa. Really? Well, I'm open to interest. Anybody who knows more information about this being weaponized. I was the one that predicted the theory that the 5G network could be amped up and turned into a microwave weapon. I proposed the theory that this was created actually not by humans, but by artificial intelligence. That was my theory. Humans wouldn't make things that were unnecessary. Now, the 5G network, they claim, is going to be 20 times faster than the top speeds of the 4G network right now. Okay, here's the story, folks. We got it in. Thanks, Isla Fries. You backed it up with a link. You got kudos for that. Thank you. All right, appreciate it. And we'll get the Prince Andrews link too. We got people looking at Prince Andrews. For some reason, I'm being shadow banned at Periscope. We're not sure why. I wonder if my link even went out.
The president heading to Walter Reed National Military.
Okay, this just in. They're claiming he's being held for a. No, this is not the link confirming he's unconscious. No. You sent me a fake link. There's nothing unconscious in this link.
Medical Center to undergo his annual physical exam a little bit early, according to the White House. In previous years, he's done it in January or in February the past 2 years. But what is more unusual today is the fact that it was unannounced. Reporters traveling with the president were under direction not to report the movement until they arrived at Walter Reed. And in previous years, this has actually been public.
Yeah, there's no evidence that the president is unconscious. That's ridiculous. You're making up stories. If it's true, I'm worried. Yeah, I am. But anyway, we got a story about Prince Andrew coming up after Sarah is in the show. We'll talk about him. Got good stuff to talk about. Not exactly good for Prince Andrew, but definitely good for our interest. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, David.
All right. Prince Andrew says he was at a Pizza Express working at night. He alleged he had, yes. Andrew is saying a lot of things right now.
Old operating system.
Huh?
Isla Fries, Vista 2006.
Oh, really? Vista 2006 burns very fast and hot. You have to keep an ice chest under it to keep your computer running.
I did not say that, Mad Dog. I'm thinking of like well, we looked at a couple things today. An i3 laptop, yeah. But it has Windows 10 on it, but I just would want to wipe it and put... Yeah. Anyway, I want to get something super cheap that I can just put Linux on.
It's $279 at Costco. It's an i3 laptop with 4 gigs of RAM. She needs a 64-bit operating system, though. I mean, a 64-bit main system, she has to be able to build it on. The MSI box looks good, yeah. This is not a hairpiece. This is my real hair. Yeah, a lot of you don't realize that if you wash your hair, you can.
One thing you could do, I Love Fries, is you could wipe out the Vista operating system and install a version of Linux instead. Yeah. And then your laptop won't run so fast.
Yeah, there you go. You could burn Linux onto your laptop, but you'd be down for a while your laptop's being upgraded by you, frustrated with mountains of code that you have to type in, like Sarah's been doing.
You have a 9-year-old motherboard worth the same now as the day you bought it, or more?
Wow, that's amazing.
What kind of motherboard do you have? Wong.
Well, Sarah didn't know how to install Linux, and it's taken like 6 days for her to talk through the specifics by Misanthropy. So, yeah, so she's getting tips and tricks to start. She's building the hardest Linux to install, Arch Linux.
Well, that way
5G looks like it could be weaponized. Now, that was my theory a long time ago. And I will get to that subject a little bit later. It's highly unlikely that 5G network would be put out there without testing, but they didn't test it. So I'm assuming that maybe humans aren't even involved in the 5G network. It may be an artificial intelligence decision. We gave up a lot of our military operations to an artificial intelligence system called Jade 2.0 back in 2015. You guys probably remember the Jade Helm event. Well, I believe Jade 2.0 implemented a plan to redistribute a lot of our national defenses. And part of that was to create the 5G network. That's my theory. You can claim it's BS. It's just something I think could have happened.
Well, David is on Periscope just for you. I love fries.
All right. Sarah's going to take over now.
There you go, Misanthropy.
There you go.
I thought Mad Dog was I was gonna put one of the compute cameras over here.
Okay.
Maybe this one.
Well, you've got a wide angle lens in the back.
I was going to, yeah, maybe this one. Anyway, something that but I'd plug it in down there.
Yeah.
And that way I could.
You want to run it through here?
Yeah, I want to run it through that same computer. Isn't it already plugged in?
No,
or it was.
It was, but I could plug it in.
But I was thinking of that way, like people want to actually see me.
Yeah, and then put it as a reduced screen in the corner.
Yeah, well then, instead of looking at the camera.
Yeah, make that a little mini screen with you in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. What is my budget? You say Centrino. You have a Gateway 2 megabyte machine that runs Windows 10 Pro on an ultra solid state drive that's way faster than an i3. Oh, a Centrino. I haven't really thought of a budget for a new box. Oh, that's so sweet of you to do all that work. Yeah, I haven't really thought of it. For days, I appreciate that. Okay, let me get a couple things going here. First, I'm going to pull up the Vaughn Show. Actually, I don't want to use Chrome. David has Epic, Opera, Firefox, and Chrome on his Windows 7. I've been using Epic browser to watch the chat. And to cut and paste things Misanthropy tells me to do. Next week, I could all Terminal to watch chat. And I really do like the idea of creating a single chat room that we can monitor all the other chat rooms in, especially because like tonight, David didn't even start the Twitch show. Or maybe he did. Maybe he put it, oh, he did. He put it over here. I'm just going to pull it up there. There we go. He started it. It's just hard to get all the different chats that we are monitoring. So I love the idea of using one place to watch all the chats. Yeah, I think you finally got yourself banned. Finally what he wanted. He got himself banned. Well, that's actually what he said the very first day. Please ban me. Oh, you have a link for me. An i5 2400 for 145 Canadian. Oh, is this like through eBay or something? Thank you for clearing that up, Senator. I wasn't sure about that, so. A Lenovo. Ooh, maybe that's what I want. A M81 SFF. That does look pretty interesting. We were looking at this really pretty computer with these red, blue, green fans, like LED light fans. Should I open up Firefox on once I do the StartX thing so that it will not allow me to cut and paste? Or, oh wait, there's a way I remember you told me the other day about. Doing it through, there was a code that you gave me with the paste bin thing. Yeah, well, it was, oh, the Costco laptop. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's, there's a 200, 250, something like that. All right, before we get into Pastebin and all that, let me, I'm going to try a couple different things. I'm just getting my screen set up. So first, a webcam video. I think it's a Logitech. I think this is just a USB camera. There we go. I don't know where the best place for me to put this is, but it's kind of creepy. This is this. There we go. Now I can kind of look here, and then it's like, I don't know where the best place is. I know it's a solid state drive. I'll get all the info for you, and yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be a good investment. There's a local store that has these computers, Lenovo's. You bought 17 of them for an internet cafe for your friends with $99 21-inch screens. Nice. Well, since you said 2006 Vista, that's why what you really need is to be like me and start making the move to Linux. Oh, you thought I cut my hair to shoulder length? I just got extensions. No, I'm just kidding. I would not get extensions. I think it is from 2006. All right, there we go. At least I have this going. And then I'm going to pull this up. I already have that up. You cast from your Pi on iVlog? Okay. I'm sorry that the stream keeps casting. Oh, that's weird. All right. I'm going to pull in a stream. And I'm not sure. I will definitely put it behind this one. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get this and move it I want to select this. Maybe move it over here. Maybe. Or at least in the middle. And then I want to see if this will be like, well, that's good enough. Yeah. I could try to do the green screen like right in there, but right about there, that would be the most green screen. It just doesn't want to work. I wonder if it'll go negative for me. Oh, that's weird. Alright, I won't do any keying. I could change the colors though. That seems a little... It's just a little bit strange. Okay. I'm doing something. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but... There we go. Something like that? No, it's just weird. I'll reset it. It's a bad camera, but it's fine. Okay, now I can make myself smaller too. Oh, that's what I could do. I can put that over there. All right, and put this up here. Okay. Never mind. Going to the virtual box now. David's slacking on keeping the trailer clean? No, he's doing good. All right. There we go. I could put my other face in front, like... Where is it? I just don't even know where it is now. Because David has so much stuff loaded in here. What is... I don't even know. Oh my God. I can't even find the regular camera. Oh, there it is. There we go. Well, if I go over here, then does that work? Kind of, Sarah, but kind of not. There we go. Now that works. So then I disappear and I appear. Works for me. All right, and then move David's chair out of the way. I am so close to being ready. Yeah. I don't know why my computer started freezing up on me, but yes. Okay, I think I'm ready. Yes, she did. Once David sat on Sarah's bed once. Okay. He could be Bronchiolitis. That could be the case, but I'm going to I'm going to go with trusting people for now. You've seen it so many times before. That's true. He could have been talking to me for 3 years now just to hack me. And no, I have not, Pickles. Thank you. My real-time cast is good. No echo or no lag. Oh, that makes sense. I don't agree with you, Roberto. Vote David Sponheim in 2020. Thank you for your compliments. I think that's I Love Fries, America's the best one. And they're working on their Vista 2006. Oh, that's what I can say from now on. It was your computer. And Misanthropy's, I showed her how to block all incoming connections to her Linux via UWF. If you were looking, I mean, not UWF. Got to work on that transposing, Sarah. Don't transpose. UFW. All right, I am ready. It doesn't show I'm ready. Yes, it does. I got all my layers going on, so like, there we go. It's layers of me. Like David does sometimes. Oh, thanks, Mad Dog. Wait until I'm ready. We can do the Wireshark thing and all that later. And keyloggers. I'm wearing a cool outfit, and David was wanting me to get rid of it. Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, Misanthropy. But David's like, oh, that suit jacket. You might want to get rid of that suit jacket. I'm like, it's a full suit, and I like it. And I only got it for $1, but I really like it. And then I put it on, and David's like, oh, it does look good on you. And thank you, Maxed Out Credit. Real-time cast is good. Really? He does that thing, though, with his hands at his hips, with his fingers, like, pointing out. He at first said it was 270s. Get this hair off of my neck. That's what it means when women start playing with their hair. Now, when I heard when they start kicking their leg, that means something completely different. I have heard other things about playing with their hair too, but I really don't know about any of that, what it means or anything. I heard that from my theater teacher in high school. Weird person. Oh, is it short enough where you can like rub it and it actually you like it's like super short, but you can rub it for good luck and it feels so prickly. I love hair like that. I think I'm pretty spiritually fit. Okay, thank you. That's a 1, right? David has not shaved his head since I've met him. Why would it have that unable to resolve? Whatever. What does Drag King need help with? Okay. I don't know why that computer sometimes okay. Am I doing something wrong? It keeps coming up. Unable to resolve host address pastebin.com. Should I not be in the start one? What about just pastebin.com? Would this work if I do that? Unable to resolve host address, but I saved your file as a notepad, which now I don't even know if my internet is even working. So I opened up, obviously on here it doesn't show it, but I opened up a terminal window and I did wget the https://pastebin.com raw 1x capital B lowercase b 5 QIS and it went in like trying to get it, and then temporary failure and name resolution. And it keeps... I know I'm not going to want to type it all out, but I did save it in... Wait, I don't want to do that one. I'll do... I know the chat does have a mind of its own sometimes. I'm just going to keep going until the 5 minutes are up, and then Pastebin disappears. But, so you can't see this, but I copied and pasted what you had in a Pastebin onto a notepad. And I'm even going to save it as... And I'm just doing, I keep doing wget. I'm wondering if I should go out of here. HTTP request sent. Oh, thank goodness, maybe. Finally. Maybe. Finally saved. What is wrong with this computer? Anyway, moving on. It's just weird. Okay, finally done. You can see how many times it took me. Persistence.
What, it finally worked?
Well, I was just trying to download a file.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I got it downloaded.
So are you using that camera?
Yeah, see, I go over here, and then if you look here,
oh, I see.
Because I turn this way, and then they can't even see me. So
oh, I see. So at least you can, yeah. So it's a backup system. Nice.
Wait. Looks good. Oh, is this the... This is my NVIM file. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, thank you for the suggestion. I'll put that in my... It's like my computer. I'm going to open... This is not working, so I'm gonna refresh that. Okay. Whatever. move home IX UB5 QIS to home dot config space I3 space config. Pain in the Arch Linux. Okay, good night. That's what you went through in the 90s. Okay. Alright, I think it did it. Now don't I do... Yeah, that's... Okay, got it. I got it all. It might take me a little while. Now let me do the wget one. Actually, I'm just going to do this. Saved there. Now, wait, let me double check. I'll do the cat to make sure it's downloaded correctly. I have this, but I need to exit out of here. I don't know if I actually moved that other one. Boring, you're bored. Sorry. It's also not good because I'm not looking at the chat over on the other screen, which I thought I was going to be able to do, but apparently I'm having some issues with that. When I'm in cat is there a way to exit out of it? Because I don't think I am. I'm going to try my best to not ignore chat Mangalitis. If there is there a way to exit out of this cat one? Because I feel like I did the cat to open up the Polybar site, and I now I'm kind of stuck in it. Let me move my screen over so you can see. Not that screen. That one. Okay, but if I type something after this. Oh, never mind. Thanks. Ah. I had to. All right. And I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to watch the chat up above here and on my other screen, and it just keeps doing that. Which aspiring presidential candidate was once spotted sliding down at Barstool in D.C.? Kamala Harris. No, I have no idea. Okay. Trick question. All three. That was a cute one. Okay, now I need to move from the home directory this file I just downloaded, which is just has a weird name from Pastebin, and I'm going to move it to replace or into the home directory as in the .config folder in the Polybar folder and call it a config for Polybar.
Okay.
Cannot move it. No such file or directory exists. Did I do something? I think I did something wrong then.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Save us from this nonstop discussion of code. Yeah, which presidential candidate was known to eat cottage cheese for breakfast? A. Reagan. Well, I did enjoy a little cottage cheese with my jelly beans. Carter.
I definitely had cottage cheese in the morning.
Or Nixon. My fellow Americans, I prefer cottage cheese. I prefer it in the morning. The answer is...
Wait.
You know the answer, I don't, so I'm going to guess Carter. Many who represent us do not love us. Q. Are you a QAnoner, really? You know, why do you guys cling to that belief that somehow Trump is stopping the deep state? I like the idea, the concept is wonderful, but there's no proof of that. There's more proof that he's been manipulated through financial means and those sex tapes. Have you seen the sex tape? It's out there. He didn't drain the swamp, man. He put 6 billionaires in the White House. That's not draining the swamp. You guys believe what Trump says. That's your big problem. You take him on his word. He doesn't have a word. He's a manipulator. He's got a history of not paying his own debts. Trump is owned, that's right. Oh my gosh, there's feet. There's feet in the picture, honey. Sarah, I have to cover my feet.
Oh, what?
You got my feet in the picture.
Here, when you come back, you can just turn that off.
Oh my gosh, that was like a real foot thing. You actually saw my feet.
Yeah, because you don't wear shoes or socks.
Well, I'm a
whatever.
Native American. I have Native American history. Well, I use the foot. I use these things called eggs. What are they called? Pedo eggs. Sounds really weird, doesn't it? But they're spinning like grinders that actually. Oh man, they do a great job in your heels, and then you apply a little lotion, and yeah, you do. It's better than those fish that eat your cuticles. Go ahead.
Or should I just talk? Probably easier. I think the Polybar directory does not exist because it says no such file or directory.
The polyfile does not exist. Okay.
So I can't move the original file to the other one.
Yeah. So I mean, I like to go a la natural, and when I walk around the house, I oftentimes go barefoot. So, thanks, Sarah, for exposing the truth about my barefooted behavior. No, I don't wear slippers. I don't wear those Walmart slippers around the house. No. Howie was saying that he gets his slippers at Walmart. The George makes a very good slip-on slipper. Or slip-on, yeah, whatever. Only lazy wear slippers. Well, I'm going to look at those Walmart slippers to see if they... But I'm not a big slipper person. Well, slippers get sweaty and stinky, and it's like, of course I don't sweat. My feet are like my dad's, hardly any sweat. I have to actually make sure they're moisturized. For $7, really? They're okay slip-ons? I'll check them out, man. I'm not afraid to go into Walmart, except to be watched by the cameras. I have this get-up that I get in with a face mask and everything. No one would ever recognize me. I pretend like I'm Barack Obama, and I walk around with my puppet, and they know that I'm normal, right? Well, let's be clear. I'd like to go to the sporting goods section and check out some of that fun athletic wear. We got it. Red Star Chicken, Domestic Forest. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to click the link. Well, I'm glad we've resolved our problems with... you see, the nice thing about this third party, and I've been thinking this all along, is that as you guys realize that Donald Trump isn't going to make it to 2020, and you realize that there's nobody else in the Republican Party that's going to carry Donald Trump's message, which he mostly gleaned from our show, the 15 ideas he took from me, you can come back here and have a place to promote the 15 ideas that Donald Trump took from me. And the Democrats who realize that Joe Biden has been pretty much fleecing ideas from me as well as Hillary when she ran. I understand Bernie is now talking about mobile medical units. So he's taking my ideas. You Democrats who realize how corrupt the Democrats are and how far left they are and how liberal they've become, you can come on over to my 15 ideas. Yeah, we'll get together in the middle, and we won't take away your gun rights either, for those of you on the right. We'll make sure that you preserve your gun rights at all costs. And as far as verification is concerned, make that all voluntary. Some states do it already. The Canadian Red Shaver Chicken produces 305 eggs per year. That's amazing. That's like an egg every other day. That Red Star hen must be laying like a laying machine. Yeah, I'm impressed. Sarah will not allow me to cook eggs in any dish that we make, so I don't really eat any eggs anymore, and I find out that it's really better for me. You got 5 dozen? Wow. I bet they taste great. Are you going to make scrambled eggs, or what are you going to do with them? Hard-boiled eggs? Deviled eggs? AIG? Eggs, yes. Deviled eggs are great. Scrambled with cheese would be, ooh, yummy. Throw a little turkey bacon in there. Hey, DT Laura, welcome. Welcome, you guys. We got guest chat over there at iBlog now. Some of you can actually chat. Let me take a look at your Q Twitter thing that just came in. Yeah, we're not talking about chicken fetuses here. Sorry. We were talking about good old-fashioned chicken and eggs.
Oh, sorry, I might have missed some chat.
Nope, we're good.
Okay, I'm good.
Just going to check this thing. QAnon is under concern. This was a 9/11 ceremony in 2011 as an honor guard, respect to our America's flag. Michelle turns to Hussein and says, all this for a damn flag. Look at his expression when he nods in agreement. Wow, let's take a look at this, folks. This is a candid moment with Michelle and Obama, who really were so far left that they didn't even have a respect for our country and the rule of law. All this for a damn flag, and she keeps saying that. There's no audio of this, so you have to just read her lips. And he nods, and yeah, all this for a damn flag. Isn't that sick, the way these people were? Thanks for that tip. They were frauds, those two. I'm convinced, I do believe he rigged his birth certificate, and I'm not going to ever give in on that like Trump did. I'm one of the 38% of the country that still believe that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. What do you think about the Louisiana election? I haven't really given it much thought. But I'm currently tracking the information as we speak. Hi, Rail Roberto's in. Hey, man. Yeah. Once polls close at 8 p.m., results from the Louisiana Secretary of State office for Saturday's election will begin to come in. Well, they should be in now. That was 3 hours ago. Live results in a race that becomes a nail-biter. Louisiana Governor John... Okay. Live results. Eddie Rispone is taking the lead over John Bel Edwards. In a race that's become a nail-biter, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards battled Saturday to defy the partisan odds in the Ruby Red South and win re-election to a seat that President Trump desperately wants returned to Republicans. Trump has made the runoff election between the Deep South only Democratic governor and the GOP political donor, blah, blah, blah. He's vigorously giving him a plug for Rispone, but it looks like Eddie Rispone is taking the lead. Look at that. The Democrats losing. Well, that's impressive. Hey, we're a very swing state nation. We could go in either direction. Poor Trump. I understand he's getting treated right now for a checkup, but they had to do it early for some reason. We'll do Larry after Sarah's in the room.
Sorry.
We don't have Arch Linux going. Sarah's working on the backbone of it right now as we speak. I got this tie from the Nordstrom rack. That's what I was told. It came off the rack. All right. You'll show me how to check for keyloggers. I don't need that. I've got keylogger protection right now. And I'm going to work on this. This is not working out here. I'm going to change this a little bit. There we go. I put it at 8. At least it's better than the 0 setting. So you're going to be working with Python on Monday? That's exciting. I can't wait to get into the nuts and bolts of the program. And plus, I can't wait to see the interface of Linux, Because right now I'm just looking at the backbone of the code that you're writing. I haven't really seen its fluff. I can't wait to open up Linux inside, Arch Linux inside of the program and look at it like a, browser. I'm a little concerned about the application of some of our more serious programs in a Linux format, but hey, I'm more than willing to go with the flow here. Like they say, I can run OBS instead of XSplit on Linux very easily. Well, believe me, I would have urged her to install Ubuntu or Mint or Kali. But Sarah wants to go through the nuts and bolts of the toughest of all Linuxes and perhaps the one with the most tools and ideally the tools she needs. Well, you want to be able to tweak something from within, and understanding the heart of Linux is essential. And I think Sarah's getting a real lesson in that by cutting or doing exactly what Misanthropy is cutting and copying into the chat room. Sarah is the IT expert. I'm more the creative side in that regard, whereas Sarah is more of the working on the backbone of what we do. We wouldn't even be here without Sarah. We wouldn't even have a show. Well, when our show was attacked by a group of people that looked like they were related to the Rothschilds about 8 years ago. And our entire website was shut down. And it was Sarah's work that brought the website back and managed to find a safe hub to put it on.
Oh, I've made mistakes, but...
Oh, she made mistakes, but it was her effort that really got the thing recovered.
Yes, I got that one moved.
Yeah, she got it moved over. But when you go to our website now, you see America's Third Party, and you go to the old site button. That's the site that's been out there since 2008 without the fluff. It's like bare bones, just the text of the site. And you can look deeply in the site and see our platform, and you can still check it out. You can even find out how to get on the ballot in your state still. Those laws are very close to how they were back then. And we never really gave that up, so we just kept it going, and she managed to retrieve our site because we had a hostile takeover attempt. And I'm not sure if it's Rothschild related, but I do know that at the same time, our domains were under attack by an attorney who worked for a company run by the Rothschilds. And then around the same time, we got a hostile attempt on taking over our Twitter name, @ThirdParty, which is a component. Dave, you don't have cams? I do have cams. What do you mean? Yeah, it is intense, considering, we've had a little concern there because these people are feeling threatened that this third party could veritably destroy their base. They've worked through the two-party system, and they never planned on losing track of that with the internet, the growth of the internet. I, being pretty smart, realized that I needed to mobilize quickly in 2008 and built the platform that we're using. But prior to that, back in 1995, I envisioned the CoolRock site. And that's when I bought the domain, coolrock.com. And we used that initially to start our political efforts in 2005. But by 2008, we were rolling along. And we caught them off guard because they hadn't put their sensors in place soon enough to stop the word of mouth that's spread around the world now that I've been trying to stop the powers that control the two-party system from ruling our nation. That's a big, huge, tall task. And I assure you, I couldn't have done this if I hadn't started back then, and with Sarah's help, too. So I started CoolRock before I even met Sarah. But she really, she helped in this whole process, getting this off the ground. And we're not really flying that high. We're barely hanging in there because we live on a shoestring. Our operation here is very, very minimal. And the only reason why we've survived so long is because it is extremely minimal, whereas other political efforts have failed because they're top-heavy. We don't have any overhead and upfront costs beyond what we've already registered with the FEC and filed. I'm going to pass on that story about the Lancaster jobs at the, Pennsylvania. Yeah, but I'll keep it my registry. Thank you, Prep. Okay, that's a great opportunity for people in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But that's 2015, that article, man. We're 4 years past that. They probably already lost their jobs by now.
Could be, I don't know, it could be this NDI I don't know.
I don't think Misanthropy is working for Mark because he said to me he was pissed off that he didn't make all the money Mark made by attacking our show.
He's just kidding.
No, he meant that. Misanthropy said at one time, he said, "Oh, gee, I didnn't realize they were making all this money attacking your show. How come Mark didn't give me any of it?" He actually said those words. So Mad Dog may have a point here.
I thought Mad Dog was the one that said that.
No, I was the one that said that Misanthropy said it. And I remember Misanthropy saying, "Gee, I wish I could have made some of that money by attacking your show." Those are his words. Thank you, Prep. I appreciate it. But he's trying to help Sarah build Linux. He's not trying to install some sort of a series of hacking codes and keyloggers on a computer we don't even put our keylogs on. And we've separated it between the two using this NDI profile, which is XSplit friendly, so we can tap into the other computer without actually sharing a LAN, local area network. Okay. You do so much on your own. That's smart. Yes, we have. Trump has taken my ideas. Yeah, I have numerous witnesses to see that over 15 of my ideas have been taken. The idea to not sign the treaty with Iran, of course, I was pitching that 3 years before Trump decided to not sign the treaty with Iran. And unlike Trump, I was not going to impose stiff economic sanctions against Iran, whereas Trump did, and it's taken us down a very dark corridor with the Chinese trade negotiations, which seem to be a big stall point in our economy now. Certain products are not receiving the same growth in production as they were normally, and now it's because of this trade embargo that's hurting our economy. I would never have done that. So you like coffee now instead of beer? Right on, Mad Dog. Excellent. He's become a coffee connoisseur instead of a beer drinker. There you go. I agree. It's so much better for you. I don't think they really want to let you profile that painting publicly. It's not that common of a painting. But yeah, there's the 1,000-mile fence idea I pitched since 2008. Trump grabbed it and said, "Oh, we're going to build a wall, 1,000-mile wall." And who's going to pay for it, Mr. Trump? "Oh, we're going to have Mexico pay for it." Which we knew that was a joke. But I had an actual plan to get the 1,000-mile fence built. In fact, recently we've updated it to include a container fence. And the container fence idea is certainly a viable concept. And that people could actually live in these things. It would be perfectly fine. We could have laundromats, taquerias, carnicerías. We could sell chicken tacos here. There could be 20-person occupancies in every container. But the wall would be facing the south as opposed to the north. And this is a container fence concept, which I think is very viable. So we put it together for $1 million as the total cost because there's so many containers that are now available for $2,000 a piece. All right. Okay, I hope that's all you needed to do it. You can restart once the two are installed. That is a font, a clipboard manager for NVIM to make it easier to copy and paste in it. Yes, I think the containers could have any type of bars. You know, it could be like a mini city facing south. When people go there, they obviously can't get entrance into our country because if we let them in, then they'd end up sending to a FEMA camp and living in a horrible condition. So people would probably aggregate there because they know that when you get over the border, it's like life in hell. And if you've heard any of the horror stories about these FEMA facilities and transfer facilities down there in Arizona and Nevada, you don't want to know about the fence Donald Trump is building in Colorado. That's the fence you don't want to know about. We're building a fence in Nevada and in Texas and Colorado. Remember when he said he has a fence building in Colorado? He said he was kidding. Yeah. Balloons can go over the wall, yeah, but balloons will be shot down with a laser beam. And I haven't even brought up my lethal, invisible electric fence idea because we went non-lethal on it. We decided to create a non-lethal fence built off the active denial system the U.S. government currently uses or wants to use. They've never really used it for crowd control, but the active denial system will keep people from crossing over a barrier using microwave energy, low wattage microwave energy. I'm not going to go to that Huang Guang, so please don't post a link here. I can't test that link. Print screens have been known to be malicious software currently being used in the chat room. You're turning our chat room into a shat room. What the hell are you? You're posting some weird thing that could be an executable file. What the hell? And who are you anyway, Huang Guang? Huang Guang Silver. I purged you because I don't trust your link. Who would? It's some print screen link. That could be anything. He's trying to set up Plex again? Really? What is Plex? Give me a tutorial, Misanthropy. If he's using Windows or Linux. Preparation H was so bored last night. He contacted an old friend on Facebook, and wow, she looked so hot. It's been 14 years since you last talked to her. That's cool. So you're hooking up a romance there from high school?
I think he's using Windows because he said he doesn't use Linux.
Who?
Wong Guang.
Well, I don't want to see that stuff, okay? Thanks.
It gives you an easy way to organize and view all your music and videos.
Okay, go ahead and send the link again, Huang. Go ahead and unmute Huang for me.
Oh, okay, just a sec.
I'll unmute him and we'll click on the link. I got it.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry about that, Huang. Go ahead and test your link again. I didn't have any previous knowledge of what you were doing. We take this stuff seriously. Containers minus the apartment idea. Shipping containers are a solid construction material. Exactly, thank you. I wasn't planning on building apartments. We have another idea, to use the containers as sewage waste storage units or possibly radioactive waste storage units. No one's going to want to wander through radioactive waste to cross into the country. You know, it's highly unlikely. We got a lot of radioactive waste. We could just pipe it down from Hannaford. We got 160 million gallons of radioactive waste. We could just run a pipeline of radioactive waste right into the containers and just line the border with radioactive waste. I don't want to do that, though. I want to give people an opportunity to actually convert these to, you know, living facilities or something. And we spray the back end with shotcrete. Shotcrete is a really strong concrete material, and we put a fencing material in it so it's doubly safe. It's got extra wiring in it like rebar. We don't know if Trump is okay at Walter Reed. We do know that he was brought in late at night, which is suspicious. And in advance of his checkup, it's a little early, but hey, why not? It's an annual checkup that's 3 months early. It looks to me like something is going on with Trump, but it's probably nothing to worry about yet. You're right. Pass on the radioactive waste and the container idea. We'll just do solid sewage waste or non-sewage waste, non-solid, whatever. You were talking about the first video that didn't name itself correctly, right? So we'll just do you know, back when Trump threatened that Mexico, when he first became president, well, Mexico is going to pay for it, and he was on the phone with Nieto for like a month. People were, yeah, John Kelly said he was on the phone with Nieto for a month. President Nieto, I told you, just don't tell anyone you're not going to pay for the fence. Please don't tell anyone. And Mr. President Nieto was not in any way going to bend. Why would he? And he kept trying to get Mexico to pay for the fence, or at least not say you're not going to pay for the fence. Can you imagine a month wasted? The first month of his presidency was on the phone with Nieto. Anyway, Donald Trump blew it big time because he could have just agreed with Nancy Pelosi and he would have had a $24 billion fence solution. She just wanted the DACA DREAM Act kids to become, at least give them a moratorium on how long they could stay in the U.S. before they apply for citizenship. That's all they had to do. No, we're not going to do the Dreamer thing. No DACA. It cost him $24 billion in funding. Had he just played ball with Nancy Pelosi early on, we would have had that fence built by now. So I'm trying to explain to you Republicans, Trump is incompetent. Please understand, he's blowing it left and right, stealing my ideas and not implementing them correctly. You got a half-wit for a president who's really greedy. I don't agree. And I had that was an interesting theory, but I have a plan to actually convert the existing sub-tier of motels that are in disrepair into government housing. Individual kitchenette motel rooms could serve as a home for somebody. I would live in a motel room with a kitchenette if that's all I had. I would. This this past summer, we traveled across the country and we stayed in some really nice motels with kitchenettes. But the average cost was $150 a night to $200 a night. And there's a lot of money being drained out of our economy in motels across the country that aren't even owned by U.S. citizens. So one of my ideas in the Homestead Renewal Plan is to start going for the motels that are in disrepair and convert those over. We'll have instantaneous housing that will take our vouchers that we give motels right now for homeless people, and we take the money in. It's a loop. It's a capital loop, so return on investment for the U.S. government. And we can man them with a kind of a follow the Motel 6 profile. Go with a very simple design, and don't match them and don't copy them, but go with a very simple design and make it very clean, useful, and make it so the people who get the vouchers can only stay for 3-4 days at a time, so they don't embed in there and become a rat trap. But the concept is very simple: to get much more housing for people who are homeless, and do it effectively and affordably. Right now, we're missing out. Lots of money go into the pockets of people from other countries who own motels in this country. Now, I'm not suggesting that we take away their ownership rights of their motels. I'm saying we pick up the base tier and buy them out. Did you restart yet?
No, because I have not been successfully able to do the final yay thing. Because my computer sometimes kicks me off the internet over here, or something
That's
goes
weird.
wrong.
Maybe it's because of the uptake. Hey, I'm going to turn your burner off because that's got a nice.
Yeah, please.
It's got a nice steak cooking for you. I made a little steak and sausage.
All right, but I did take my notes and kind of made them a little bit easier. All right, let's see if it's just like I can tell if I have the ability to like get the chat room, then I can work it, but it like freezes up on me, and so then I can't get into the chat room. And then all right, if I restart before downloading at least the okay, if I restart before using the font, it will give me an error when I restart. I'm going to keep doing the font. Okay, or the polybar will look weird. That's fine. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep trying to download it, and persistence will work. And I'll laugh at myself later because the font is a TTF nerd one, right? So I don't know if it's freezing up on me over on this other computer, but it's definitely not working on one of my computers. I don't really know all the issues, but I'm just gonna keep doing the yay. I think I'll try that yay font one first. Oh, goodness. Anyway, someone could create a homeless community and harvest what? Oh, and collect all the feces, you're saying? And then use the feces to create methane gas or something? Hello, Lickrone. Sorry, sorry if I accidentally ignored you. Oh, you say politicians act like they want to solve the homeless problem, but in fact the homeless are the ones keeping everyone in line to keep living in this way instead of like being more enlightened. I have come to believe that too, Daryl BJ. That a lot of homeless are homeless by choice. I think that there are certain people that their family is just maybe has tried and does not want anything to do with them anymore. This is a political chat. Okay. Something about laundromat allowing people through at iVlog. Same with apartments. How is that secure? Balloons over the wall. The wall is a frustrating idea. So many ways around it or under it or over it. The container idea isn't bad as a construction material. Containers minus the apartment idea. Shipping containers are a solid construction material. Depending on how you stack them, yes. And as long as you don't ruin the structural integrity. Hello, Lou23. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I like that emoticon because even though, you know, most people are going to interpret it as drinking coffee, I like hot cocoa, and it looks like drinking hot chocolate to me. Yeah, lots of failures in name resolutions. That is just so weird, right? I mean, both of my computers are connected to Etherneted to my router.
Is that router Etherneted?
I mean,
is that computer Etherneted? I believe it is. I don't think it has
thought so, but
it may have a
maybe
Wi-Fi
not.
connector at the base, in the back. Let me see. Let me take a look.
Maybe that's a problem.
It might not be Etherneted. That's
I know the other one was Ethernet.
no. This is Etherneted. We're not using the Wi-Fi output. We stored it elsewhere.
Well, let me see.
It was Wi-Fi when I first brought it when it was in the other room.
It says to this computer, so it does. That is wireless.
That's wireless, yeah.
So don't we want it to be? It's connected through the wireless one. Is that why it's having problems?
There is no connection. There is no wireless input on that. That was a. I don't think that had a card. Is what I'm saying. We had to have an external USB Wi-Fi card.
And ironically, yes, it did have a card, but we couldn't get it to work.
Right. It had a card originally when we bought it, but it wasn't working. So we bought an external
I know
Wi-Fi.
what's happening. Are you
What?
sure that this is Etherneted? I'm gonna double check.
Well, I think so. It's. Let me just double check here. Oh, hang on. I see something. Hold on. I see a Wi-Fi. I see our Wi-Fi down there now. I see it. Hang on. You want me to pull the Wi-Fi out?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it out. It was Wi-Fi.
Yep. No, it's not connected.
Well, now we have to get the Ethernet to connect.
I agree. Maybe you could take it out of that computer over there.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Cords.
That's exactly
Well,
what I'll do.
you know, the nice thing, David, I can say
What?
is I think your thing is working.
My what?
Oh, what do you call it? Faraday cage around your router.
Well, you don't think it's releasing a lot of information?
Well,
Because it worked okay before. In the
no,
other room.
that's why I'm saying it's working, because it's hard to get a signal in here through. It was.
Well, I get the signal of the laptop all the time, so I'm not sure what you're saying. But
I'm
I know
saying
my
that
head's around a
it's
lot of
probably
wires like that.
blocking something, and that's why maybe it was blocking something, and that's why I couldn't get my computer working. Preparation Eggs. She likes your idea about the motel rooms, but anywhere homeless people go, drugs and violence also
Right.
follows.
Well, we have to monitor it. Every motel would have a security guard.
David says they'd all have security guards, and who would pay for those?
It would be part of the cost of operations.
Part of the cost of operations. This is the show you eat dinner to now. You're eating an entire box of Fruity Pebbles. No! Please go grab a bag of carrots.
Yeah, don't eat the box of Fruity Pebbles. Please.
Yeah, true. How have you been, Lou? Aw, it's so sweet. Thanks for bringing me flowers. And Lucius
Okay, your Ethernet
is here.
You're connected. Yay. Identifying. It says no internet yet. Maybe you might have to set it up to get internet access. You may have to have the password.
Oh, it's got it,
Okay.
I think.
I thought the password is only for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to try this. Thank goodness. That works a lot better. Yay, now I know, literally, yay, now I can yay. Is this the code show? Well, I am slowly learning how to code, G. Gordon Liddy. That's on my goal list. Wait, oh, what did David do? I'm always asking myself that. What did David do? Never mind. I wonder if I'm going to have to do something different for that NDI thing. Probably not. You prefer code time? It gives your fingers a rest. Whatever that means. Wait. Yeah. Oh. Thank you. WTTD. I am not going to edit any package builds. No. N. None. That's what Misanthropy said. No, you don't want to edit a package build. Oh, David, like, makes you have to type a lot. Oh, yeah, I want the Matrix on David's terminal. Or on my terminal so David can watch it. He would love that. Let me actually go over here. Oh, sorry. I'm not paying attention completely. Like I should be. Okay, and now let me get the other yay. X clip. Thank God, that is way better. It's so funny. I think I was on this old Wi-Fi. It's called a Wi-Fi stick, USB stick. That's what I was doing. Oh wait, yay S. What's better, a terminal or a pod? Wait. Oh, yay, SC matrix. Got it.
Okay. So your Ethernet is hooked up. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, so everyone, we're just troubleshooting some Linux stuff tonight. Sarah's working on technology on our Sustainable Saturday. As we gear up for the future when guest chat may be shut down by all the sensors that are out there. We know that people are having a hard time getting into our guest rooms, and we are fully aware of that. But we want to provide a place that's safe for everybody so that your IP is safe with us. We're not going to let other people see your IP when you get into our new guest room. That's the whole concept. Most guest chat rooms out there right now are vulnerable. That's the problem. They're not vulnerable in Vaughn because he's using proprietary software that he somehow acquired. We're not sure how he did that.
No, I don't think I burped.
Okay, restart and show it on the screen. Pray it works. Okay.
And it's weird that it's not showing on the screen.
No.
So I might have to restart my computer. We'll see.
Yeah.
Especially because, okay, I'm going to remove
Yeah, restart the computer and then it might show.
Yeah, I'm going to restart my whole computer.
All right. Great. Okay. IRC is not safe. Unless you're able to disguise your IP in IRC individually, it's not safe. So we want to develop a script that does that for you.
No, David, let's.
I want Sarah to develop a script that does that for you.
Thank you.
I won't be doing the script development because I'm not going to be able to
As
code
David's
that.
dad used to say, what, you got a mouse in your pocket?
I do. Actually, it's a rat. David, when you find out at odds someone from the electric company showed up at your home without calling first, replacing the digital meter and say it was communicating remotely with the electric company? I'd expect them to do that. If there was a problem, I would expect them to come out and do that. We didn't have a choice with the smart meters in our area. Some areas are now lobbying for choice. If I opted out of the smart meter, they'd shut my electric off and I'd have to reconnect. It would be a huge problem. So what I did was I built Faraday cages over things, and they work fine. But if the electric company wanted to do that, I'd let them change the meter out. But then I'd probably put a Faraday cage over the new one. All right, thank you so much. Have your dinner. It's waiting for you on the stove.
I'll restart when I come back and show it on the screen when I come back.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
All that other stuff.
Yeah, your dinner's on the stove. Have as much of the steak you want, and there's vegetables, fresh steamed organic vegetables, and
a steak. Yum.
And a linguine, turkey linguine I made the other night on Thursday. It's a reheat with some cheddar cheese on top from Finland. It just gets better and better. You have to maintain constant quality. Yeah, there you go. It's like a fine wine over time. It ages and gets better and better. Yeah, you get service like that over there where you are. Your smart meter is already beaming in your head. If you're near a smart meter set over at your apartment building, you are probably in danger. If your room is right next to one of these things that you see on the side of a building, and somebody's got an apartment next to that, they put out a low. It's called a radio frequency radiation, magnetism that can affect your body. These are the digital smart meters. The analog smart meters are these. Remember these? Oh, they worked fine, but they needed to put these in so that they could communicate with the smart meter without sending a guy out to your house. But if you're near one of these types of banks over here, like, you got to ask your apartment to get a transfer. Don't say why. Just say, I'd like to get a different apartment building room in the, another room if it comes available. I'd really like to get out of here. And you're wondering why you're not getting good sleep, no REM sleep, you're always tired. Yeah, that could be it. Well, what it does, the Faraday cage actually creates a net around the unit that's developing field radiation. Every single one of these transmitters sends out a massive amount of transmission in all different directions. And if you put an aluminum screening material over it and create a net for it, it contains that field radiation to the net, but the signals still go through the little holes in different directions. So the meter is actually fully readable from a distance, from miles away. But it doesn't have that field radiation bursting out at you, which is really what's happening. Like when you have a cell phone, if you put it next to your head, you're getting the radiation in your head. I would move into a car right now until they finally, find you a new apartment. They've tested the radiation. They can extend out from those meters 10 to 15 feet. And 5G networks put out a massive amount. Much stronger too. And our government's not doing anything to check the safety of these, because in the end, the people that run our government really don't care about us. They don't care if we all die of brain cancer. They really don't. Remember when Lyle Alzado, the famous bodybuilder and wrestler, Lyle Alzado, claimed that his brain cancer came from the steroids he was on? He died in 1992. He was a football player, yeah. Famous football player. Sorry, I thought he was a wrestler. Lyle Alzado was a very big spokesman for the dangers of steroids, because he used a lot of them in football. That story didn't go anywhere. By the time he died, no one was listening to him. Here he is speaking out about his illness. He got brain cancer and died. So strong man, very capable. Look at this guy. He was a monster of a man, huge football player, one of the best football players of all times, and a lot of passion. And he made a point of talking about how he thought the steroids caused his brain cancer. But you think you get one scientist to confirm that? No. They don't want you to not take steroids. They don't care if you die. I mean, whatever. Yeah, they don't care about your body. Yes, Trump won 3 times to Louisiana, and the Republican governor candidate just lost miserably. Oh, really? So Trump couldn't hold back the Louisiana Democrats? Oh, well. Let's go to the live results and see where they're at. Oh, my gosh. Here we go. He didn't lose in a big way. Edwards just pulled ahead just a few minutes ago. Edwards is now leading 50.66 to 49.34 for Eddie Rispone. Trump can't revive. Remember, Trump didn't win the popular vote in very many states, just the red states. All the swing states, he didn't win the popular vote, but he won the electoral count vote for some weird reason. Yes, there is a personal meter that you can buy, an RF meter. Ron Johnson sells that on his site. I don't know, do you have a link to Ron Johnson's site, Scissor Fight? Let me go to Amazon. There's a couple meters out there. This guy, Ron Johnson, sells them for $100, but they're tested and they work really well. But the range, you can get them as low as $22. Here's a link to an EMF meter at Amazon. Handheld electromagnetic field radiation counter and dosimeter. This will probably give you a general idea. It's got 69% rating. A couple people had a bad experience with it, but that's the lowest cost one I've seen. Here's the link. I know Ron wants like $100 for his, right? Well, no, Ron Johnson doesn't sell it there. Go here and check this out. Ron Johnson has a, it's his website. It's called SHTF News, I believe. And I think he sells it there at his site. Trump's rallies are like monster truck rallies. Does everyone who attend monster truck rally vote? Trump uses a lot of techniques to get in there and control the dialogue. He actually has numerous people working for him through WWE. Yeah, your test is not working. It's not. You haven't even begun to phase us, sir. What do you think? What's my official position on Trump attending 3 huge Louisiana rallies and then the Republicans lose? Because not everybody supports Trump's ideas. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people in America, 50% want him impeached. You Republicans don't want to hear that. You want to think, oh, well, they should just support our president. But you don't realize that your answers to Donald Trump's misdeeds come under the heading of repeat information. It's all a hoax. It's a scam. It's all a witch hunt. It's all fake news. It's all the Russian hoax. All this is just the same info over and over again, not new info. And unfortunately, that response that Trump has does not respond in real time to all these allegations that are coming up true, with 12 witnesses standing up there going, oh yeah, he did say that. I heard him say that. This is the look of a guy who has 12 witnesses confirming the same thing. Confidence. And this is the look of a guy who recognizes that his years of service, his respected service in the nation, was just called to task, and he did his job. He testified. He doesn't have to do anything more than testify. But the Republicans want dirt. They want whistleblower information. Why? The whistleblower just led them to 12 witnesses that support the same idea. Adam Schiff doesn't have to produce any whistleblower information, and technically he's not allowed to know the name of the whistleblower under whistleblower law. But you think you Republicans would research this? Well, then you say, oh no, but Trump should be facing his accuser. He has that right. He doesn't have that right. He doesn't have that right. He's actually, this is, the Sixth Amendment does not apply to the impeachment inquiry. There it is. There's his EMF meter. Thanks, Scissor Fight, for getting that. Let me show you Ron Johnson's one that he's selling. It's $109, but it's advanced, tri-field. That's way better than the one I showed you. Thank you. Yeah, and Ron Johnson's a pretty credible guy. I actually think he's awesome. I'm sorry he was a Trump supporter for a while. I think he's finally realizing Trump has flipped completely on his backers. But there's a good one. That's something I'd probably want to get for Christmas. Go for it. Thank you. And any of you guys that want to see the same link, you can check it out over here. I'll pass that link along over at the Vaughn chat room. Okay. I don't think the guy's nutty at all. I personally think the guy's very concerned about radiation and chemtrails. And I actually align with Ron Johnson very well. I wouldn't have a problem talking to him on the phone. All right. 5G LED weapon system deployed in the streets of the UK. This story is up and running, folks. Check this out.
And that's been fitted by councils across the country. This is shared as we've had a whistleblower send us the information, and obviously we've got a box delivered by a whistleblower at one of the councils, all right? Because obviously the people are very concerned in the lighting departments about what this equipment is, and I've been asked to actually review it. Because this is a weapon system, all right? It's nothing more than a weapon. Wow. Now I know it's masquerading as a light, but it's a weapon. Alright, so let's just show you. Let's just break this whole thing down and show people what this is. Alright? I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to take this piece, this antenna piece, the pieces. Alright, people have seen it before, they've seen the breakdown. Alright, let's just unloosen this piece here.
Okay, we'll have the whole video tonight in our show, and I'm still looking for information on the internet about what these are. When I went across country last summer, just a few months ago, I saw these in every major city I went through. And I'm just asking Sarah, what do you think they are? They look like lights. And they're every 300 feet apart, which is suspicious because that's what the 5G network needs to communicate. Every 300 feet. And I looked up under 5G and I tried to see what these things were. There's nothing out there. That's not Adam Schiff's eyes. And that's not an accurate photograph, Mad Dog. You have to go with accurate photographs. Yeah, you can't just lie in our show about somebody's eyes. Anyway. I still don't know what these things are. And I told Sarah we should go over to an area called Linwood, which has them in our city of Seattle. A whole 3-mile stretch of these things in Seattle. And see if they're lighting up at night. Because if they're not lighting up at night, what the hell are they? And they're in every city in America in the most highly dense area where people travel. That's weird. They were in every city I went through across the country, including Denver. They were in, St. Louis. They're in every city. What are they? And no one knows. When you search the internet, you can't find the exact units. You can find units that look like lights for stadiums, but they're not like this. And this has a transponder at the top of it. At the very top, it has the so I wouldn't doubt this is the same kind of thing. Well, we'll be finding out more tonight when we see that video about that guy taking out those things in the UK. I don't trust the 5G network one bit. Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, it all started when I realized my teeth were eroding. And I said to Sarah, I said, I'm doing an impersonation video of Barack Obama, and I need a look that looks a little like Barack Obama. And I said, why don't I just get those teeth? And I did those teeth here on this. They first appeared here, and they're press-on veneers. Some are saying, but you can't get me a single statement from any news source that says that Trump is unconscious. Could you please get back to me on that? Where are you hearing this? Let's not spread rumors, okay? We're at a critical stage here. No, that's the same one. You keep muting. I have to mute you now. Jeez. So that's a very serious story coming out of the UK. But I was very impressed with these pressed-on veneers, and I think they're very useful. My teeth I've got 50% enamel loss, so my teeth are yellow. I had to wear these things to do a show. Well, I'm not going to allow Mad Dog to put crap on the show. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's bad enough I had to impersonate Barack Obama smoking a joint. God forbid I would have smoked. If I really wanted to impersonate Barack Obama, I would have hit on a crack pipe. And I've never smoked crack like he has. Barack Obama smoked crack early on, and he went ahead and smoked crack with his friend, you-know-who, Larry Sinclair. Let's refer to the Stargate for this information. Dear Stargate, tell me the answers about Barack Obama's homosexuality.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
Thank you, Stargate. Appreciate it. We consult the Stargate for all our tough questions. I don't have any freedom here. I mean, I've been censored on all networks. Are you kidding me? This is a joke, right? David, do you think this will work? How to make a free smart meter cover. Yeah, it will work.
Not sure if anyone posted this before, but 2 days ago, 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 2 da If you just want to make a free smart meter cover real quick and easy, I used a couple of zippy ties, used a metal screen, put the zippy ties together, pushed the screen over the top, and just trimmed it. There's a screen cover. I didn't want to spend $100. I didn't want to spend $2. And I didn't. So there's an idea.
Thank you very much. And thank you for bringing that link to me. I'm going to add it to my do-it-yourself section, but that's great. I'm going to put it in Enviro. Yeah, so this is the easiest way. It's kind of like what I did. I used a staple gun and I cut it apart and stapled it together. But yeah, this is actually the best way to do it. And what Scissorfied suggested is we ground it. So I took a copper wire, and grounded it to a grounding wire. If you've got a ground near your meter box, and they usually have to have one down there at the base of the meter box, there's a grounding wire. You just ground it to that. Yeah, Drag King, Mad Dog can be, all he has to do is refresh, he can be unmuted. Yeah. No, it hasn't affected the readings on my electric company. They're all solid. I have the same readings that I had before I put it on there. Hasn't changed. And they haven't had a problem on their end receiving the information, so they haven't sent anybody out to the location to troubleshoot it. But it cuts down on field radiation, and there's a room next door to my meter, so I have to make sure I minimize that. It's not something I'm really freaked out about, but hey, when you see all these things are not being told about, our government really should put a public service announcement out saying not to use phones next to your head. Cell phones next to your head are posing dangers. Even the director of the World Health Organization has stated that cell phones contribute to brain cancer. I mean, how serious can I be? I mean, plus your eyes are at risk too. If you aren't using some sort of protection like these are Uvex. Uvex is made by Honeywell, I believe. They make these for $10. You can get them on Amazon. They're really effective at eliminating 91% of the blue LED light that's beaming at your retina. But I'm using a screen dampener as well, so I don't even need these. But you can set your settings for your monitor on your Windows 10 settings to have a lower brightness, which really helps quite a bit. You speak through a long tube. I speak over here on my cell phone. I hit a thing called the speaker phone, and I talk from this distance. I imagine you could have put a cell phone in a smart meter or in some sort of a Faraday cage. Absolutely. Some people actually have Faraday cages they purchased for their electronic items in the event of an EMP attack, electromagnetic pulse. These types of attacks could happen all of a sudden from an outside source, or they could be orchestrated through the network of radiation tools the government has installed. Your choice. EMP from an outside hostile enemy, or from our own government deciding to zap us all. We don't know. But I do know that these things are all over the country. This is just one area. This happens to be St. Louis, I believe. But these things, I don't know what they are, but they're out there. I'm still trying to find out what they are. It's called Nightlight on Windows 10, Herbal Ascension says. There you have it. Set up your Nightlight. Google Nightlight. We just did Larry Howie. You missed it. You must have been off in the bathroom draining your lizard. David, 7 years ago, since the smart meter was installed at my place, I've had less energy and get tired really easy. How close are you to the smart meter prep? Preparation H is having problems, folks. How close is your room to the smart meter? Is it right next to the smart meters? The whole wall of smart meters? Because it does sound like you're having energy problems due to that. Oh, brushing your teeth. Okay. Well, you want to have a fresh smile for chatting. God, what a weirdo. No, seriously. It's good to brush your teeth at least 3 times a day. After meals especially. What do you have for dinner? You mind if I guess? You went to Kentucky Fried Chicken and had 2 pieces of dark meat and 1 piece of white meat with an extra container of special cut steak potatoes. And you chose not to eat the coleslaw. You know you need that coleslaw for roughage. Now you want to drink. Look, we got people in here who don't want you to drink. You made homemade quiche with extra cheese. Only real men eat quiche. Does that mean you're a real man? Remember that? You weren't even alive then. When in the 70s there used to be a big thing about real men eat quiche. Yeah, what are you, 32 or something? You don't remember that. The good old days. Yeah, anyway, so we're here to talk about the coming apocalypse and the control of our society with power and flames and the mind-melding control of the New World Order and how it's affecting so many people. The brain drain going on in our society. I like quiche, okay, Puff? David, my back deck is right next to my bedroom and the meter is right next to my deck. There you go. Get away from that meter or cap that meter like that guy did in the video. Yeah, here's the link if you didn't get it automatically in our show. You can check it out. Thanks for that link, by the way. Get away from that smart meter. Put your bed 20 feet away at least. It's a story of a guy named Prince Andrew who was testifying about his activities with Jeffrey Epstein. Let's listen in.
I have no recollection of ever meeting her. I'm almost, in fact, I'm convinced that I was never in trance with her. There are a number of things that are wrong with that story. One of which is that I don't know where the bar is in Tramps. I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramp whenever I was there.
Do you remember dancing at Tramp?
No. That couldn't have happened because the date that is being suggested, I was at home with the children.
You know that you were at home with the children. Was it a memorable night?
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then because the Duchess was away, we have a simple rule in the family that when one's away, the other one's there. I was on terminal leave at the time from the Royal Navy, so therefore I was at home.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do.
So he said he was going to Pizza Express. He was going to Pizza Express with the kids instead of being there with a young woman, underage woman. Squirming, Prince Andrew last night went into an astonishing personal detail to deny accusations he had sex with a teenage girl. He claimed he was in a Pizza Express the night he's accused of sleeping with Virginia Roberts, a sex slave of pedophile pal Jeffrey Epstein. Now, they recorded his blinking. He blinked 10 times in 10 seconds during the response to a question about whether he had sex with a minor. That's serious. The Duke of York was asked about Virginia Giuffre Roberts, who was pictured with him, and claimed that she had sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17. He said he had no recollection of ever meeting this lady, none whatsoever, yet he's in a picture with her. And they've authenticated the picture. There was a lot of blinking in this response. Never trust a blinker.
The problem was the fact that once he had been convicted,
You stayed with
I stayed with him. And that's the bit that as it were, I kick myself for on a daily basis.
He kicks himself for staying with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, he visited him after Epstein had spent time arrested for prostitution of minors. He went and spent time with him, and he kicks himself for that. But he doesn't recollect the woman that is in a picture with him.
Because it was not something that was becoming of a member of the royal family. And we try and uphold the highest standards and practices, and I let the side down. Simple as that.
One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts,
Yeah.
has made allegations against you. She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
In case you didn't know, eye blinking is a classic sign of lying. It's a tell. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Never trust an Ashkenazi, yeah. You know who else did a lot of blinking? Remember when Brett Kavanaugh was asked about sex with that woman or touching or raping that woman? Brett Kavanaugh blinked like 17 times in the response. I actually did a whole video about it. I put it on YouTube. But we all remember him. He's the guy that turned this whole thing upside down by allowing foreign governments to support U.S.
He drank beer. He had one beer at the party and had beers with, and having some beers with friends, or just to meet up and have some beers. Drinking beer, which I gladly do. I like beer.
You have to answer that.
I like beer. I don't know if you do.
Okay.
Do you like beer, Senator, or not? What do you like to drink?
Next one is...
Yeah, this is the complete scumbag that is our current Supreme Court justice, who managed to get past all the filters, even though somebody unknowingly, unknown to us, paid off his entire debt before he became a Supreme Court justice. That's right. In 2017, this guy owed over $200,000 he'd acquired from giving people tickets to the Nationals baseball team. We're talking about handing your friends all of these season tickets to the Nationals baseball team. He was in debt for $200,000, and somebody wrote off his debt and made him a Supreme Court justice. This is the guy that it made it possible for foreign governments to fund super PACs in America. Now I'm going to take you to the story that I think really is super important today, and I think we could all agree that foreign governments funding super PACs is not good. Well, I played this early in our show, and I don't want to play it again, but this story broke out that these people who Trump claims he never met, who we know had 10 encounters with Trump and Giuliani, these people were indicted and charged with crimes for getting foreign Ukrainian money and Russian money to presidential candidates. Well, guess what? This is a top news story, by the way. Guess what? Lindsey Graham is receiving money from foreign governments. I'm not kidding. This story came in today. Lindsey Graham, Russian oil money and a campaign finance scandal. This is dating back to May 17th, but nobody's talking about this. Lindsey Graham got $800,000 from this Russian oligarch. That's a little suspicious, isn't it? And then go on to talk about others getting money. According to PolitiChat or PolitiFact.com, Mitch McConnell got $2.5 million from Russian oligarchs for re-election, and an additional million as well. So the two top Republicans are working with Russia. Isn't this unbelievable? And then Donald Trump is cavorting with thugs from Ukraine who are Russian in origin. I mean, this is crazy. Thank goodness Adam Schiff is doing the hard work of exposing this right now. Otherwise, we'd all be screwed. And I'm not a big fan of Adam Schiff, but I can tell you, we need this out in the open. The American people are looking at 12 witnesses confirming the same thing. And we have top diplomats that are signing off. Yes, it's not direct evidence, it's hearsay, but we're going to hear from one of the assistants of Ambassador Sondland, and she said that she overheard a conversation on a speakerphone with Trump saying, "No, I want to get the dirt on Joe Biden, and I'm not going to give the money unless I have it." Something to that effect. So Prince Andrew said, "I didn't have sex with a teen. I was at home after the pizza party." Yeah, that's what he said. Talk about irony. Pizza party, going out with the kids. And that's the term the pedophiles use. They're going to a pizza party. Ironically, hang on, one last, there's some useful information on smart meters at the EMF Academy. Okay, thanks for sharing. They show some shields and everything. That's good. That's a good link. Thanks for sending that link to us. Here's another link from our Vaughn chat room on the EMF Academy. Dave, the way it's going, Trump could be blowing Putin on a private video somewhere, and he's still most likely going to get reelected. It's incredible. No, sorry, Trump Tardo. You don't have the votes to win. You're losing in every state that Trump goes and rallies for, so you'd think you'd realize that. What's wrong with you Trump supporters that simply don't get it when he's lying to you? You see, you're going to slowly realize you've been played by a guy who doesn't even pay his debts. And you're going to realize that in a very short period of time that your allegiance to Donald Trump was a kind of a hollow goal, that it never really manifested into any deep state players getting taken out. Trump has done next to nothing. He hasn't really done what the QAnon group says he hasn't done anything. He is ostensibly pitching himself to be an enemy of the deep state, but if he was, he would be going after Big Pharma. He hasn't done a thing. If he was, he would be going after the vaccine industry. He sent Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to do it, but he can't do much. If he was, he would have been prosecuting Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren for lying about her Cherokee ancestry, but he's not doing any of that. If he was trying to stop the deep state, he wouldn't be doing the bidding of a Russian oligarch-led country like Russia, which is controlled by the deep state. That's right. The Russian oligarchs are controlled by the same moneyed interests that control our American Israeli Political Affairs Committee, AIPAC. It's the same group at the top. If you didn't know, Donald Trump was really hurting for money about 10 years ago, and he had to reach out during the 2009 debacle and get money. He walked into most investments with cash. According to witnesses, he bought everything with cash. It turns out that Donald Trump has been getting loans from oligarchs and Deutsche Bank to stay going. They gave him $1 billion, and then it was backed by an oligarch. And when Donald Trump became president, he wanted an advance on that loan, and he couldn't get it. You see, Deutsche Bank has red flagged a lot of the transactions that Donald Trump has been involved in internally. And they needed an oligarch to back it because they didn't know if he'd ever pay him back. So there's a lot of questions right now about who really is in control of Donald Trump's finances. Seriously. And I wouldn't doubt Trump got millions from Big Pharma. I don't track his donations, but I wouldn't doubt it. He's protecting Big Pharma. Now, there are ways around this constant battle with big private sector industry. Building our own generic pharmaceuticals and delivering our own health care is the way out. And we've even talked about building an infrastructure bank that would run parallel with the Federal Reserve just to finance the growth of American jobs. We'd offer 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. We would not allow them to use the loans for investment purposes. It would have to go into infrastructure and production. No way they would get a loan and go invest in Dubai like they did with the TARP 1 and TARP 2 funds. Remember Barney Frank? He was so upset that they didn't use that money to help our country. You've got to earmark that money if you're going to give them money. Anyway, there's a lot of big pharma people. Hey, you've got the links at your fingertips. Pretty fast there, buddy. Okay, we got something going on here. 2020 presidential receipts from the healthcare industry. Oh yeah, I remember this link. So far, the healthcare industry, pharma industry, has donated more than $5 million to the 2020 election, to 20 candidates. President Trump comes in as the top recipient of healthcare money with $1.4 million donated. Bernie Sanders is at number 5. Well, it's still chump change when you talk about the money that Trump needs to get reelected. So he had to go to the oligarchs. And, you know, we know from Mueller, too, that Trump was aware that the Russians were cheating and rigging the election in his favor. And he never told the FBI this. That's a seriously damning fact that has to be brought up. And remember, Mueller never exonerated Donald Trump. He never felt that Donald Trump was not guilty. It's not a recording, hey, I'm live every night, watching in real time. But thanks for asking. Okay, so you're not watching a rerun. That's bull crap. No, you're not allowed to say that crap in here. I do the show every night. I happen to go back to this room to talk about things like this. Excuse me. Excuse me. So Trump is writing his own articles of impeachment every time he mouths off. The question is Trump doing okay? Because he was hauled into Walter Reed Hospital for an annual checkup 3 months early tonight at a late hour. Yeah, he must have left the White House at 8 o'clock. He's been in there for 2 hours and we haven't heard anything yet. We're all waiting on good news that he doesn't have a festering sore on his body somewhere.
This is a grape. Not that exciting, I know. If we remove the skin, a grape is basically just a big bag of the most delicate sponge.
We're going to talk about grapes and tissue recellularization. I can't wait to hear. Oh, goody. Who doesn't want to watch that? Okay, Noodle Spitzen, we'll take a look at that. Tissue recellularization. Well, you know, I'd have no problem if Donald Trump went to Walter Reed because he noticed he had a facial growth or something. You know, more than likely, you could claim that any number of things could be happening. We did notice some cancerous tissue on Donald Trump's face, but I'm sure they would have dealt with that with an outpatient procedure. Yeah, it happens when you get basal cell carcinoma and don't treat it. You can get an outbreak, and we did notice something on Donald Trump's face a while back, but Trump, I think, may have realized that he is a tumor. Yeah. It could be that tattoo he has on his back that, yeah. No, I'm just guessing. Maybe it was crap on his face? I don't know. I mean, the skin issue is the real thing. And let me see if I can bring up his skin sample here. There's so many Trump pictures. I should put them in a list and just play them in the show. Trump lump. This is not funny. Yeah, I thought that was really rude. Yeah, I don't think that's very complimentary. It's brutal, I know. Okay, here's a Trump skin picture. You can see it right there on the close-up that when something's rotting inside, it kind of bubbles to the surface. That's definitely some sort of a basal cell carcinoma. Maybe that's what they probably said, hey, you're going to have to look at a skin doctor here. But yeah, that's definitely some sort of a carcinoma of some sort. I'm not a doctor, though, so I can't really verify. It could be just eczema. I don't know. Yeah, see, I have my resources. I can pull up anything. He went in early, be setting up an exit plan. He will be diagnosed with the disease and claim he must step down for the good of the nation. Pence will pardon him. Absolutely. See, I was the one that said Pence is going to be taking over, didn't I? Need I say any more? Now, Yovanovitch was really great. She said it was very intimidating. Yeah, her statement, it was very intimidating, and knowingly using intimidation with the intent to influence testimony is the very definition of witness tampering. It doesn't matter that Yovanovitch would not be intimidated by a mere tweet, given how formidable she appeared during her testimony. But Trump tweeted about this woman in a very intimidating way, and that could be perceived as witness tampering. I respect the presidency, I do, but not a person who cheated. Not a guy who cheated. You people are actually seemingly to be traitors. You're like traitors to me. I see a lot of you Trump supporters as traitors, supporting Russia. I agree, Pence is not suited for the job of the vice presidency, but I did predict that Pence will be taking over. So don't be surprised in the next couple weeks, if not months, that Trump will have to resign for some reason. And then all of his 2020 paraphernalia will be thrown in the garbage. Yeah, I can't support a guy who cheated. He cheated in the election. We know he did. And when he stole my ideas, you'd think that was something that would have, immediately triggered your thoughts that, gee, is this guy trustworthy? No, but you went ahead and trusted him anyway. That makes me question your ethics. Let's go back to the Stargate and see what the Magic Stargate says. Oh, Magic Stargate. What should we think about? What should be our next thought?
Hey, do you ever wonder, what is going on? I mean, do you ever, wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Thank you, Magic Stargate. The world becomes an instantaneous magic ball, an 8-ball, when you go to the Magic Stargate. Trust and Trump both start with the same true. Quote, Trumptard. That's right. Do something. I've been doing something for a long time. Have you ever done something? I've been doing something a long time. I've been knocking on a wall that won't even listen. I have been censored in the media for the past 11 years. I don't know anybody who's put up this strong of a fight telling you what's going to happen next and being right every time. I literally have predicted all these things month after month, 8 years in advance, 5 years in advance, 4 years in advance. I'm almost like a magic crystal ball in and of myself. And I'm not bragging, I'm actually complaining. It's a terrible burden to have. I can't tell you how much concern I have about the country. Every day I think about all the outcomes of what potentially could happen with bad people in presidency. And I've been looking at Trump from the very beginning and seen a line of corruption that goes deep. And I've been looking deep too. We've got a whole file on Trump that's beyond belief. I've got over 80 links that we put out before the election warning you about the Russian oligarchs, the connections, the Ukrainian situation. I even talked about how Trump was pitching a Ukrainian Russian-influenced presidential candidate before Zelensky became in charge. That's right. When Michael Flynn was our national security advisor, a Russian agent for 24 days worked for Russia as our national security advisor. I have to remind you. And thank you for that, Greek God. I appreciate that. The fact is, I've been reminding you of all these connections for this long, and I was way ahead of everybody before the election. And I have 80 links that all point to everything we're looking at right now. I'd show them to you right now if you want. I mean, I can bring them up. It's a pretty interesting library. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to get this on your browser, but delicious.com is not an SSL browser, so I'm going to go and see if I can test this out, see if it'll work. Putting my delicious link library from pre-election times. Yes, it's working, good. It'll work on Chrome, and then you go there and use, because it's not an HTTPS site, you may have a problem getting to it, but Chrome will take it and type in Trump. Let me get you the direct link. Luckily, by 3,358 links still work. Okay, here it is. If you check this link, it has 88 87 links, all related to Trump. Every one of them is a blockbuster. It'll talk about his escort service in 1999, everything. David, are you poor because you waste your time on the internet? I don't waste my time on the internet. I'm not poor, but I don't waste my time on the internet. What makes you think I waste my time on the internet? Yeah, what makes you think I waste my time? I have not wasted a cent of time. A scintilla of time. Oh, for you, voting for Trump was like pushing the giant red button, the one that says don't push it, but she got to find out what that red button's going to do, so you push it. It's what the hackers do. You push every single button. We like trolls, and Trump's a troll. It's pure logic, Dave. That's why Trump won. No, I'm afraid not. Trump won because he had a lot of big money backing support from the Rothschilds. They threw their hope and faith in a guy that is loose-lipped and extremely unwound. It was a foolish thing for them to do. No, I'm running a political campaign. Yeah, I'm not wasting my time. I've spent over 30,000 hours building this political movement, and we're watched by all around the world. You guys, you think we've just got a few chatters in here? We're seen on UHF channels all around the world every day. People watch our show and they tune in because they want to know what's going on. So don't think for a second I'm defined by our chatters here. Believe me, we've been victims of censorship for years now. It's unbelievable. They're trying to limit the number of people to get in here. No, about 30,000 hours of broadcasting, roughly. You should be embarrassed. Vladimir Putin sums up the New World Order in 5 seconds. I don't believe that. Vladimir Putin is run by the New World Order. Don't think for a second he's an antagonist to the New World Order. One thing we know about Vladimir Putin is he's really greedy, like Trump. He got bought off a long time ago. Ergo, the fall of the Soviet Union. Back in the USSR.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Look at that. 5 words. I don't trust anything he says. Nah, I support the US dollar, even though there are people like him that want to destroy it. The New World Order relies on the US dollar. It's a staple that they cannot possibly separate from without triggering worldwide panic. They can't move to some other currency. They've planned on global world currencies over the past 20 years. They can't implement it because they don't know how. Believe me, they would if they could, but they can't. I didn't decide the article was anything before I read it. Anything out of Putin is BS. No, they haven't replaced the dollar at all. No. In fact, most of the nations the BRIC nations that meet don't have nearly the capital that's backing the US dollar. It's like a joke. They could barely muster $1 trillion if they tried, and there's over 22 trillion backing the US dollar in any one instance on the internet. No. China's going to undervalue the yuan, and they're going to ultimately have an internal problem as a result of it. I've already seen it. What I'm going to see is a collapse of the stock market. The U.S. stock market is going to decline by about 50%. That's not going to shake the U.S. dollar. It will cause some concern, but it's not going to shake the very backbone of this system. I'm not going to be your super op, old Haas. Sorry. I don't go on the internet. I don't have any instances of me out there. So if you see people on Snapchat or whatever pretending to be me, that's not me. No, the BRIC nations can't even muster a $500 billion. It's ridiculous. They'll never even get close. The Rothschilds are heavily invested in the US dollar, and they're not going to abandon it at any time soon. The best we can hope for is building a parallel infrastructure bank working with the feds as we build a more robust and resilient economy. Peter Wan is already taking over. Petro Wan is already taking over. No. I don't believe Iran's recent prediction they have 53 billion barrels of oil. That's not backed by any proof. That's just a BS line. They've done this before. Second of all, I don't believe that Venezuela is stable enough to become a strong oil leader. The political unrest that Maduro's government has encountered, along with the shortages of food, creates a huge, really stopgap for any excess oil coming out of Venezuela. And technically, Venezuela is not falling to Russia because, at the very least, Maduro installed a certain amount of capital in a Dubai bank to ensure his own survival and autonomy from Russia's influence. He doesn't trust Russia or the U.S. Now, if you think the Saudis are going to switch, that's going to be a real shaker. Because if they switch, they could veritably fall on their face. The yuan has been undervalued, and there's no way that you're going to be able to get that kind of stable financial backing for petroleum. The petrodollar is still very much in play, and our position worldwide is lock solid. We're not going to move at all. Even Trump's departure from Syria was taken almost laughingly by the Pentagon. He listened to our show and wanted to get us out of Syria, and then he probably got a call from Putin saying, "I would like you to take out of Syria, to get out of there now." And Donald was, "Oh, sure, Vladimir, whatever you say, just don't play the sex tape." Yeah, doesn't matter. My predictions are long standing, and I can tell you, I've been hearing this tripe coming out of morons like you for about 10 years. Remember William, you know the guy William, I'm not going to say his last name,
yes,
who became a sellout to the Lucis Trust Fund? He's been saying that the petrodollar is going to collapse for over 10 years. We've got a lot of people that have been saying that. You can join the club of people that are going to abandon our economy because you're un-American. You don't even know why you're in the show. You don't even know why you're in the show. You don't even support what we're doing. Helping Sarah with Lennox is more of like a personal thing for you. And that's one of the reasons why I keep you in the show, because you can help her with Lennox, and I appreciate that. But other than that, you're not even supportive of our cause. We're here to build up America, not tear it down. How do you think that's going to play out with us abandoning the U.S. dollar as a world currency? No other country and no other country allied with us is going to want to do that. No one wants to take that risk. It's crazy to think that that's going to happen. Oh, they want it to happen. I've read the same garbage propaganda coming out of the Russians for years. You're not a follower. You don't even want to have a political movement of your own that you can get behind, because you don't believe in people. You don't believe in this country. When I look at you, I look at a person who's isolated and alone. And I'm not seeing a guy who's really, really part of the game. Hey, old Haas is thinking of running for office. Go for it, man. California needs a lot of centrists to steer away from the liberalism. No, I'm convinced from the analysis of the UTC code that video that band played was not 3:30 a.m. It was 8:30 a.m. And it happened 1 hour after the shooting started. They got the Saugus Strong video domain. Scissor Fight was right that he would have had to have a domain in place in order to get that domain name, secure it. He wasn't wrong. He was right, and you were right. Both of you had a certain right to it. You both were right in this instance. You can go look at it right now. It's the last video I uploaded. Scissor Fight said it was 3:30 in the morning. The guy on the video says it was 3:30 in the morning. It didn't happen to be 16:29, which translates to 8:30 in the morning, where it was actually secured. The domain was secured. It was 3:30 in the morning where the domain was secured, but it was 8:30 in California at Santa Clarita when the domain was secured. So basically the domain was secured 1 hour into the shooting. That's the suspicious part. So that's what Scissor Fight said. The guy in the video said it was 3:30 in the morning, but Scissor Fight, we managed to realize that it was not 3:30 in the morning. You said it was 4:30 in the afternoon. Isn't this a great tie? Yeah. It came off the rack in it's a Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's off the rack. Well, we didn't know what you were trying to do because you've had a bone to pick with Scissor Fight since you got into the show. Misanthropy may be a woman. We're not sure. He could be a transgender. We haven't really verified that. We don't ask your gender typing when you come in the show. I don't think a lot of the stuff that Scissor Fight posts is garbage. And I'm glad we're talking about this right now because this is certainly within the scope of Sustainable Saturday. I think what he does is offer alternative views. You keep thinking it's all conspiracy crap, which is such an average argument everybody makes. Oh, you believe that? You're a conspiracy theorist. Which is ridiculous. You're using the same tripe they feed you in the media against people who come up with alternative ideas. No, not at all. I don't think anybody's jealous of anybody. Yeah, we don't know why Misanthropy has such a hard-on for Scissor Fight. We played some music he made the other night. You said it sucked. The audio was all off. I mean, you try to make music like Scissor Fight makes. We've got 2 sections of music on our Cool Rock site dedicated to Scissor Fight. Not because he doesn't know what he's doing, but because he's so good at what he does. 2 sections, Scissor Fight Music 1 and 2, and every one of these is awesome. I highly recommend it. And play some music while you're at it. Yeah, we wouldn't, in no way do I undervalue his input. You're saying the videos he posts make conspiracy theorists sound insane. I think you may have a point. And I agree, a lot of these people who do come out with a lot of these alternative views sound a little off. I'm not saying they don't. But Scissor Fight never did anything to you, Misanthropy. He never said anything bad to you. Well, I can tell you that Vladimir is not a person I quote in the show. And Zero Hedge was already compromised by the deep state last year. We vetted Zero Hedge as a deep state tool, much like RT. And you're saying Putin is saying that our currency is going to devalue and collapse. He's been saying that for 17 years since he took power. How long has he been in power since Yeltsin? Well, I'm not going to even figure it out. 22? That's the same thing he's been saying for 17 years and nothing's happened. Need I remind you that Vladimir Putin's economy, the Russian economy, is no bigger than the size of the economy of Texas. It's smaller than Italy's economy, or about the same size. Russia is desperate to use the tools they acquired from the Soviet Union to control the destiny of other major players like China and the US. Russia is a thug and is not helping at all improve China or the US economy. Why do you think Trump is implementing a trade barrier with China so that both China and the US go down in value and Russia wins? This is a scam they're pulling. And if you quote Zero Hedge and say that that's a legitimate story, I'm sorry, but that's a garbage story coming out of a complete Russian hack site. No, I'm not ignoring what's going on. Our dollar is propped up with a lot of hope and dreams and confidence. And as a presidential candidate, I support that confidence that we have in our U.S. economy. I also know that the stock market's going to take a hit, and it's going to take a big hit. We're angling towards some sort of a crash. I know that too. Same thing happened during the October crash in 29. No, everything I say about CNN and Trump is not coming from the mainstream media. No way. I led the story on Trump. And you could go back 4 years before the Trump escapade where he started stealing my ideas. And I led that story. It wasn't something I copied from CNN. I'm the guy that's bringing up all the truth about Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell working for Russian oligarchs. I'm the one who's exposing more than the CNN is even beginning to expose every night. I'm not some shill for CNN. They're following what I'm doing, if at least they're following my recommendations of an impeachment And I'm thankful for that. The impeachment was imminent. When Pelosi said they weren't going to impeach, I thought she was nuts. Trump would never come up with a renewable energy solution. He's run by the deep state, Trump-tardo. They don't want people coming up with renewable energy solutions. They want our country reliant on oil for the rest of eternity. Trump doesn't want to copy ideas that are helping people, like the mobile medical unit. He talked about it during the campaign, and then he dropped the idea. It completely disappeared, evaporated. No, the video is under heavy censorship, Drag King. You don't think the Republican Party is run by Zionists? And you don't think Fox News is run by Zionists? You don't get the big picture. Both parties are run by the same elite group of people, the Zionist elites. You're missing the whole point of a third party. It's like you don't even understand the reason why we're here. I'm not a smooth operator. I'm just a guy who's calling out the truth as I see it, man. I shoot from the hip. I'll see you in a bit.
Weird. Okay, I want to restart the show because this NDI issue doesn't work unless I restart the show. Anyway, so I restarted it and there was errors in my i3 config file. They hit show errors, and I don't know why it's not showing, but show errors and edit config, and it expected one of these tokens and pound set. So there's an error in line 22, line 23, something about mod 1, up arrow, a capital M, mod 1, somewhere around there is an error. I did everything, I thought I did everything that you said. Oh, set mod 1. Set $sign mod 1. Mod 1. Have any of you served time in the military? That is only it. That's it. You're only allowed to have water. Sarcastically. Oh no. Only water. Oh, due to scroll. Okay. Batting my eyelashes like that. Oh wait, I don't know if they lift their eyebrows when they do that. Okay, let me see. I wonder if I messed up something. I know I downloaded it into Notepad++, so. Let me take a look. In your loads without any errors. It's probably just me. I think this is one. I wonder if this is one that I. Okay, at least I can go in and look and see if I did something wrong. This file has been to insert. Okay. Well, I can look at it side by side with this notepad when David comes back and just see if I... Yeah, that's what it said. But, like line 22... And for some reason it has like these things pointing up. Wait. Where it's like mod 1 for some reason. First it says expected. One of these tokens, N pound set from all that. Smart 4. I'm just gonna look over and see if that's okay. I understand his frustration, I'm sure, Drag King. Oh, that's a great idea. Wait, I have to exit out. And then am I on? I'm just gonna power off this. All right, I'll do that in a minute. I can do that, like, I do that before it does start X, obviously, because I can do that in the root director, in the root, because I can't open a terminal. Just do that before I do start X. Okay. Oh, got it. Okay. So first I'm gonna so I'm doing this in before I do, obviously. Yes, I'm just gonna do it right now. Oh, of course you can't do that. Okay, come on, Sarah. Now, of course, I get to listen to David all day tomorrow. C W X Y G M X Z. Okay, and now I'm going to cat that just to make sure it is like what I want. Okay, I see set colors from X resources, some resource, 0 color, client focused, it has $ color, color, color. All right, anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and move it. Okay, home.config. And then also I'm going to do cat. And it should have, yeah, it has a whole bunch of hex colors in there. Okay. Then reboot. So I should just do start X or totally close it out. I'll close it out and then power off and then reboot. Sarah, do you see the resemblance? Between myself and whoever you're... Not really. I don't even... Who is that? Because I don't even know who that is. Snishnosh. All this exposure has... Nice. Okay. Well, I'm going to go through and double check and make sure my config file is like yours. But obviously it should be, because you have an error in your config file. And of course I can't show it because the stupid NDI system is not working. But what's interesting is it says set colors from X resources, and it says set from resource color 0 i3m dot color 0. I guess that's right. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Got it. Could there be something else I did not do? You said make sure I downloaded. I forgot to download something. I wonder if I forgot to download. I did yay. Oh wait, instead of yay, I have to do sudo, right? Alright, I'll just deal with it tomorrow. How do I don't know if I finished installing Polybar. I did do the move for Polybar. For Polybar, what I did was I made the directory, and then I moved the file that you had loaded from the Pastebin to my directory, Polybar directory. And that's all I did for Polybar. Then I went on to the NVIM one, and then I did the X resources one. Okay, and then I'll type in Polybar main. Error. X connection error. Why can't parse display starting? So I think obviously I did something wrong there. So I know I downloaded and I moved the polybar over. Can I do cat and see if that's the polybar? Because I can't obviously get into normal terminal in Arch because it won't open. I'm just in, what am I in? I don't know what this is called, the root terminal? Arch Linux. David got it all. He's from the new 2000s internet. He helped you get through all of it and being stronger. That's good. All right. I will tell you what that says in a moment. Maybe, I think that's what I might have done.
Cool. Yeah, I'll tell you, I feel so much better now that I've been drinking whole milk as opposed to non-fat or low-fat.
I saw some stuff today. I almost got it's non-homogenized. That was pretty interesting. Is that like raw milk? But it was $6.99 for a gallon.
Yeah, I mean the whole milk that as long as you don't have the hormones in the milk, it's good. But whole milk is better. And Sarah's father said that his doctor had said that they make non-fat and low-fat milk with a chemical. They used to, in the old days, they make skim milk using a centrifuge, but now they use a chemical in making low-fat and non-fat. So it was an awakening to me, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to get no hormone whole milk, and it really is better.
I don't think that's an issue because it says old version 4.17 1-1 and total installed size 1.52 megabyte. New version 4.17.1-1 net change 0 megabytes.
Yes.
So I don't need to proceed with the installation, or should I go ahead and do that?
I think you can do it.
Yes, no.
I would. I'm convinced that's the right thing to do.
Well, Linux is, yeah.
Go ahead, yeah. They do want to make John Paul a saint. I think they did that. He performed a few miracles. I know that Pope Francis wants to become a saint, but I don't think he's done the miracles. But we're not here to talk Pope talk tonight. Yeah, even with Arch, you can always roll back, walking, it says.
Thank you.
No, this has been a learning experience for Sarah, and she really wanted to go down this road and pathway, so we've allocated this time to do whatever she wants to do. I said to Sarah months ago, I said, do whatever you want to do. Trivia, talk about whatever is going on in your life. It's her time to shine. Hey, if you didn't get all the predictions I came up with and was accurate about 4 years ago, here you can check out the link to Trump. 88 links, all related to Trump. Yeah, check it out. Very interesting. Everything it foreshadows all the things we're going through right now. No, I don't wear many different colored socks. I have a very select wardrobe. Sarah and I defined our wardrobe today. And do you mind if I show the jacket that you got?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
And she got a Christmas present for me ahead of time. And yeah, I love it. You know, I had a leather jacket, And the leather jacket was actually pleather, and remember we talked about it on the show.
Can I fix your
Sure,
collar?
yes, please do. And this is so much better. It's a suede jacket, 100% suede, fits me perfectly.
It's actually better in person than it is on camera, but
Well, they can't see it with the darkness, but I could put it's a really nice black leather suede jacket. And I was so impressed. My other jacket was pleather, and the collar was falling apart recently. And I said, Sarah, this jacket's like 5 years old. The pleather's good on it, but so we accessed that jacket to the clothing bin. So somebody will have a nice pleather jacket out of the clothing bin. And thank you. And Sarah got me this one today, so replaced it. She wants to take a screenshot of the error to know what it is. Just hit print screen on that and do it a paint on that computer.
okay. But
You know what I like for print screen is, do we have Opera browser has a great snap feature.
Oh yeah, I already know how to do that.
Opera does a great job with snap.
Opera?
Well, if you have Opera on there.
It's not Opera.
Well, Opera has a snap feature.
Actually, this is great.
Oh, you got the snipping tool on that one. Yeah, that's even better. But man, I love this jacket. It's
And
really
then-
warm, and it's all yeah. It's really suede is, like Wilson House is suede and leather. Suede is a really expensive product. I know I don't use Opera for a lot of reasons, but it has a great snip tool. If you
But
want to do
have
automatic
that,
snipping.
It's called snipping tool right
Yeah,
there.
you downloaded a snipping tool on that computer. I used to use it.
Okay, or I think it's just...
Oh, I'll never have to wash this. It's dry clean only.
Where do I paste that though? I mean, I saved it, but now...
Save it
do
on a
I
document
save it
file.
onto print screen? Or, I mean,
Well,
no,
it
like-
should send it to a document file. Snippet does.
Yeah, but then how do I send it to
Go to
them?
Paint, open Paint, and then just paste it in Paint.
No, I already have it
Oh,
saved.
okay, great.
So now what do I do with it?
Oh, you want to email it to somebody? Well, you'd access your
not
emails
email,
privately. That'd be the best way to do it. Well, okay. How do you want to get the? Why don't you email it over here to this site, and we'll open it over here on our. Email it to America's Third Party, and then we'll open it here and put it on the screen, and then
Oh,
send
there
it.
you
to
go. Okay.
Upload it on Imgur.
Never used Imgur, so.
Yeah.
there you
Well, you have to sign it. You have to get an account there.
All right, first I'll do that.
Hey, you didn't chat for years, but you didn't change to me, and that's good. Yeah, thanks, Jack Gaxo. Yeah, you were here back in Blog TV days. Yeah, we've been moving along. We're up to 30,000 hours of broadcasting at least. Very intense show.
Okay, I'll do that.
But the thing is, I'm not really trying to uproot your view of Donald Trump. I want to slowly manicure the leaves on your view, so you'll begin to understand that I don't want you to uproot your foundation, which really is predicated on my ideas. When you voted for Donald Trump, you thought he'd get a 1,000-mile fence or wall built. That's my idea. You thought maybe he'd get us out of Iran politics. I suggested that. You thought that maybe he was right about the prediction of Brexit. I predicted it 6 weeks before Trump did. I mean, all these other things, too, that have come about, mobile medical units that never came to fruition that Trump talked about off of our website, never put that together, but he basically, they won your vote with those ideas. Solar rooftops were used by Hillary Clinton in the debates with Donald Trump. No, we got a definite mix of Dems and Republicans here. We're right in the center of the political spectrum, Fat Vinny. That's what makes us such a strong contender for 2020. We could unite the country. We could make it a real united front for America to start thinking openly and sharing ideas to get to the right solutions that make sense for both parties. If we can't negotiate somewhere in the middle of the two parties, then we will fail as a nation. You were looking at the financial NGOs that are not places of worship. Well, our flat tax idea might just make sure everybody pays their fair share. Yeah. Technically, separation of church and state could be interpreted in two different ways. I mean, we're treating churches separately like they're special. Why are we doing that? Because we're supposed to have a separation of church and state where we don't give special credit to churches. They should be treated the same way other people are treated. I believe a flat tax of 10% on income over $50,000 would be a starting point, where a church that can run under $50,000 could actually finance its operation and then pay a small 10% tithe on top of the income they bring in. It would prevent people like Joel Osteen and Benny Hinn from cashing in on the minds and support of all these people that really think they're just doing good work for God. Meanwhile, they're living in penthouse suites every time they go out. I recently liked Taylor Swift's song, Why Don't You Just Calm Down? I thought that was really great until I realized it was a programming song about accepting transgenderism. But I love the song. I think the song really highlights her abilities. She's an incredibly fast singer. She can do rap in her music, which really kind of blows my mind. Yeah, I didn't expect Taylor Swift to be that kind of a person. I like female vocalists for sure. Santa Clarita, yeah, the fire has started again, yeah. Let me get that link to you. Thank you.
Yes.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just getting some stuff.
Okay. So this is all about 36 minutes of various contradictions in the story of the Saugus school shooting. Did that guy live? Does anybody know if he lived from the head injury of a self-inflicted gunshot? We're trying to remain as neutral as we can, but a lot of people think that I'm, a Democrat. I was a Democrat, but I was heavily influenced by the right during the early part of our show when they convinced me that I had to support total gun rights. And I've grown to realize we're not going to be able to budge the right on gun rights. Even this notion of red flag laws, not going to play well with the right. We want to win your vote. We're not going to push verification after all. I want to make it available so that we have an online interface so the FBI doesn't even get bothered. Right now they're getting calls constantly from gun shops across the country trying to verify certain people in states that require that. I want an online system that even you could check somebody out if you had their driver's license number. Very simple. Give them a green or a red or a yellow for whether they're safe to sell to. But it wouldn't be something you'd have to do because enforcing that's too costly. Trump hasn't taken down the Democratic Party. I've had to align in the middle here. I don't think so. Trump hasn't taken down the Democratic Party, and they won't. The Democratic Party will falter on its own, just like the Republican Party already is faltering on its own, supporting a racist and a white supremacist. I mean, let's face it, he's slipped up big time. Even Omarosa said he was using the N-word around the White House. Come on. Who are we kidding here? This guy's an open, unabashed racist. So that's taken the Republican Party into a toilet bowl. You're never going to extricate yourself from that unless you build a brand new premise which to expurge yourself of Donald Trump's association and rebuild from there. The Republicans have a better shot with Mitt Romney than Donald Trump in 2020. I don't care. She's still a woman and she has a voice and she's writing a book. So you tell me. Omarosa has a right to express herself. Yeah, the CIA is riddled with Catholic Freemasons. Next to Zionist Ashkenazis, yes, and evangelical Christians. They're all nesting at the center. They believe that this triangle of power will give them ultimate power over the American people. I know. They're religious kooks running the White House. I told you that. I'm a-religious. I'm not religious. So I'm not going to express an opinion based on a Catholic or a Buddhist or a Muslim belief, like Barack Obama. And I guess Donald Trump is a Mason. Is that why? Don't they worship Satan or something at the highest level? Aren't they Luciferians? That's a little weird, to say the least. You know, I can't help but smell the place we bought this from, because it was in the place we bought this from. It smells like, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I mean, eventually the smell will go away, I'm sure, but it smells kind of like a nice, general, clean, washed smell, you know? Like everything in this place we bought it was clean and washed. Pence advisor says Trump request that Ukraine open Biden probe was unusual and inappropriate. Yeah, I saw that, and I think Pence is starting to realize that he may be president of the United States after all. I believe he will be president in the next 6 months. Maybe even sooner. Yep, good. Well, at least Pence put himself out there to separate. See, I don't want our country to lose a presidential person. I think Pence could pull it off for a while.
Committee releasing the transcripts of 2 more closed-door depositions as another one wraps up on Capitol Hill. House investigators today questioned a career aide inside the White House Budget Office after they completed the first week of public hearings. Hello, everyone. I'm Arthel Neville. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's News Headquarters.
And hello, Arthel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Eric Shawn. We're now getting a look at the deposition transcripts from former National Security official Tim Morrison. He had reportedly said the call was troubling but not illegal. And the top aide to Vice President Mike Pence, Jennifer Williams, there on the right, in her testimony, she said she did not flag anything noteworthy about the president's call with the Ukrainian president. This as the impeachment investigators hear from White House budget official Mark Sandy of the OMB about the timeline for releasing U.S. military aid to Ukraine. Meanwhile, reaction is still pouring in about yesterday's blockbuster public testimony from former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. We have live Team Fox News coverage for you on all of the breaking developments. Allison Barber standing by at the White House. But let's begin with senior Capitol Hill producer Chad Program with the very latest on those depositions. Chad?
The key number of the hour is 3,514. That's the total number of pages that have of transcripts of depositions that we've got. We got, 2 depositions released just in the past hour and 10 minutes. Jennifer Williams, who is an NSC official, worked with Vice President Pence, and also Tim Morrison. And I want to go to something that is key here. These 2 witnesses were on the phone call between President Trump and the leader of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, on the 25th of July. That's important here because Republicans have been critical of Democrats of having second and third hand information. These 2 were on that phone call. And I'm going to go to something that Jennifer Williams, testified to here. She said that, quote, it seemed unusual to other discussions with foreign leaders. She testified that it struck her as unusual and inappropriate to have a discussion about possible investigations. Now, that's important when you get into this firsthand information. Republicans keep saying, wait a minute, everybody they have up here, knows it's second and third hand. Eric Swalwell is a Democratic congressman from California. He's a member of the Intelligence Committee, and he actually says it's the other way around. Listen.
What is remarkable about this investigation is that it is almost entirely driven by witness accounts.
Now, today we got Mark Sandy, who came in for a 5.5-hour deposition. He's with the OMB. Democrats and Republicans want to talk to him to find out how the aid was handled for Ukraine. It's important to note that they tried to get Mick Mulvaney, who technically is still the OMB director. He's the acting.
Over 3,000 pages. That's amazing testimony. Everyone's got a lot to say, I guess. And here's that link. I'll put it in chat. I'm delivering it, Sarah. That goes to Misanthropy. Okay, Misanthropy, that's the link that Sarah's sending you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Doctor said student was a hit with missile. Oh my gosh, the doctor said a student was hit with a missile at the Saga shooting. I didn't know missiles were used at this event, this crisis event.
For the patient I took care of, yes, from all we can tell from the imaging, the trajectory of the missile appears to have gone in a pattern outside of the abdomen, so just in the soft tissue planes.
Bringing in a camera through her intestine to make sure the lining of the... So for us, superficial injury means that it's not a deep enough injury that's going to warrant an immediate operation where we're worried about life-threatening bleeding. It did go through the body, but through a compartment that didn't warrant an operation.
It did go through the body, but through a compartment that didn't warrant an operation.
Just admission, observation. Once we were done with the initial treatment, initial evaluation, and both patients were felt to be stable, both were sitting up with their families in the room, they were conversating with each other.
It's a missile, yeah. Yeah, there you go. That was some beef ribs that were used at 45. So it's a missile. Yeah, it was a superficial wound. Howie, what do you got? A police cop.
Good evening. It is great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night, and we begin tonight with the news that...
Hang on. We've got, yeah, I covered the news of the Seattle captain arrested for suspicion of sex exploitation. There was a big story that broke in our area about policemen getting $100 to go out and put tips on strippers, and they actually.
This is a breaking news.
They actually did that. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Yeah, they actually had $100 given to these people to go out and try to get close enough within something like 9 inches of a woman. It automatically arrests the woman on the stage. And they were actually seeding the money. Taxpayer dollars were given $100 to each cop to go out there and get hooked up with a lap dancer. News from Howie, thank you. Okay, you got that from him there. Yeah, they said, I think it's a 9-inch barrier, could be a 7-inch barrier, depending on the size of the person next to them. Al Sharpton gets $1 million in pay from his own charity tax filing show. Oh, okay, this is how Hillary does it. I guess Al learned from her. The mighty force of the Democratic.
I do have to say I did try the XRDB merge.x resources and said can't open display.
Democrats rushing to Al Sharpton's defense this week after President Trump blasted him as a, quote, con man.
But should they be cozying up to him? Op-eds in the Washington Post and the New York Times criticizing the candidates for ignoring Sharpton's controversial past.
Joining us with her reaction is Fox News contributor Dr. Alveda King.
Thank you, Doctor. We're going to try to figure out what Sharpton is doing with that charity money later. We'll play that after the show. Okay. Obama was the worst president ever, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he destroyed Libya and Syria for the Zionist elitists. You're right. I know. He should be in jail. I hear you. I don't know. You actually tried to get a prostitute to dance for you as a stripper, and she called a cop on you? How do you steal money from your family? You're a clone living in a boiler room at the CIA. How do you even have a family? Oh, I get it. You're the clone of the hacker who felt that he had everything taken from him. You inherited the hacker's memories. Of course, I should have known. As is. I don't know what's wrong with it. It says as is. They always say that on these stickers, you know. There's nothing as is about this thing. This is great.
Meaning
I've even
that
got
it's
side
sold
pockets.
as is and you can't return it.
I know.
That's what it is.
Well, you know, I've heard the story about stents, and they say they only last about 20 years. I know for a fact that it lasted 12 years, or 14 years in my father's case. So I can't give you any more information about that other than my eyewitness personal account of my father's stents. My father was the 200th person in the world to have a stent installed in his body, and it worked great. They put one in right here on the anterior and the other. Oh. Pretty nice for like a Wilson's House of Suede and Leather quality coat. I know how to do everything. I can use chopsticks, yes. I can even perform surgery on a farm animal if I had to in the field. I'm very good with the needle and thread. Well, it wasn't me. It's a gift for Christmas. I happen to like quality gifts for a low price, so it worked for me. Sarah got a winner there. We went through like 6 coats today. Because I said my leather jacket was a mess. It's actually quite a story.
Okay, opened up to the i3 first configuration file.
Okay.
So, anyway, I think I'll just X out and we'll figure it out on Monday.
Yeah. Time to take a break and enjoy your weekend, Sarah. You deserve it. Really.
Apologies for being so slow.
Oh, come on. He's
But
just cutting and pasting. It takes him very little time.
Make me appreciate how my students are.
Yeah, that's true. You can be
you can be
patient with everybody, yeah.
My goodness, my hair is long. Show that again. Look how long my hair is.
It's pretty long. Look at how slouched I am in the chair. But you see, this is a pretty cool jacket. I was like blown away that you got me this. Thank you. We went through 6 jackets to get to this.
Does this have this color up all the time? But
Well, maybe that's why it was put on sale, because it has a collar that flips
the
up.
guy didn't like the color flipping
He
up.
felt it was a little weird, maybe a little, you know. But does it even matter? I mean, I can train it to go down just by putting a book on it and setting it. If you want, I could just hold it in that position for hours on end until it finally stays there. Coast Guard intercepts narco sub with 5,000 pounds of cocaine, worth $69 million on the open market.
Did I ever tell you about that book I read called The Woman Who Codes or something like that? Anyway,
Yeah, what was
we're
that
listening to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was
It
about
was a
an incredible
mystery. She was
woman.
a
oh god, she
decryptor,
was
right?
so cool.
She was a decryptionist.
Yeah, and because she worked for the Coast Guard for a long time with intercepting narcos things, and anyway, it was
You
pretty
learned a
interesting.
lot about
but-
that, yeah. Well, that was a book on tape, wasn't it?
Yes, that's true. I don't actually read books anymore. I just listen all the time.
Well, I don't mind. So you're saying this doesn't flip up and this does? That's a problem. The first order of business is to get the price tag off. I'll do that around Christmas. I expect to wear this every Friday at least, so that I could get the smell of the place we bought it out of.
You can take the price tag off anytime you want. Okay. And
Is there a law that says I can't take the price tag off?
No, I know. It's just weird that you don't like to take price tags off of things.
Not really. I mean, when we buy really nice leather chairs, I couldn't help but say, Sarah, why don't we just leave the tagging on it so people always think they're new? And when you come into our
Because
home,
nobody comes here to visit.
well, no one will, because the last people that came through our doors actually either died and came back to life or died. So it's like I don't.
Well, that's not true. They haven't died yet.
Well, that's some people are on the way to that process, but I know a guy who actually went through the front door and he died. You know, of course, people die eventually, right?
Everybody's gonna die sometime.
Yeah, but I just feel like this particular quality is what I was looking for. So
Yeah, it looks good on you.
yeah, I think it looks warm too, and it's got inside pockets, and it'll go well with my bulletproofing once I stitch it in there. I had to get a size big enough so that it handles the bulletproofing. Otherwise, I'm a 47, so I have a 48. I can fit into a 48. This is like a 48. And I have an inch to carry my dragon skin, you know, so that I can't be, you know, targeted by unknown assailants.
Only 2 more updates on this computer.
I can't believe that. It's like it's re-updating every time.
Every single day.
Maybe it's just re-updating every time.
Every day.
What about the Santa Clarita shooting? I'll get to that in a second. Sarah's going to take off for the night. Thank you, Sarah.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Let's talk about the Santa Clarita shooting. It's pretty bad. Yeah. What we know are 2 people died, and the assailant is apparently alive. He had a gunshot to his own head. Hopefully he'll have the ability to talk about why he did this, losing his father. But the question is, did he do anything? Are there any bodies? Like all of these shootings, are there any pictures of blood that are real, that are not fake? And the answer is no. There are no pictures of the shooting. There are no pictures of blood. And if there were, it would look fake. And there is no coroner report specifically, other than to say that 2 hospital guys are standing there in front of people saying he was hit with a missile. So that's all very suspicious. And then there's this weird track of people posting information on the internet in advance of the shooting. And there was evidence that within 1 hour of the shooting, they took out a website, Saga Strong. Every one of these shootings has this strong attached to it. Sutherland Church Strong, Oregon Strong, Parkland Strong. So they're already automatically making money on it. Almost instantaneously, GoFundMe pages pop up after every event. It's like a pattern. And it's really kind of, unfortunately, they're taking crisis events, and we do know for a fact that this school in particular had a lot of crisis training events prior. Like big time, last October, they were all over the place. Crisis training event, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, third party strong, but we're not in any way trying to, you know, bring together people to create gun control laws. Vegas strong, exactly. Thank you. Mandalay Bay. And to this day, the Clark County coroner has not presented any evidence of anybody dying at that place. And the evidence we have of Stephen Paddock being alive 5 days after the event happened, that's very compelling. We have a photograph of Stephen Paddock playing cards 5 days later in Atlantic City. So all these questions pop up. There were 5 deaths that we do know for a fact happened of people that were trying to form self-help groups to talk about the experience of being at the Mandalay Bay shooting. They all died of strange, mysterious accidents. One guy hit by a car, another guy was in a gunshot wound, killed. A girl had an unusual disease happen. She was going to start a Facebook group online of people that were at the Mandalay Bay event. She died the next morning. That's very suspicious. There's a lot of suspicious things that are just not adding up across the board. And look at all the other things that are happening with the NYPD. 9 cops all killing themselves with gunshots to the head. Highly unlikely that that would be a choice for a cop. It would be more like hanging or something. So all of this adds up to witnesses are being killed, stories are being crushed. Look at the story about Anthony Weiner and the 340,000 emails that he allegedly had on that laptop. Or Seth Rich, what about that story? That got shut down. Debbie Wasserman Schultz wanted the laptop of Seth Rich, never got it, but her brother, Stephen Wasserman, got the Awan brothers off of all charges. It's like a plea agreement. And that's suspicious, too. All these things point to cover-up after cover-up after cover-up. Everywhere you turn, it's like they block the angle from the public and they shut it down. Case closed. No, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to live through your life without asking questions. I've already spun a cycle in your mind that every night you go to bed you think, am I a clone? Was I cloned by the agency? Am I the clone of a hacker? Are my memories implanted? You don't know. And I implanted that thought in your mind that you're a clone and it's eating you away, sir. Those questions are eating away right now in your mind. You don't know why you've never left the facility. I told you to go down to the 7-Eleven at the corner in McLean, Virginia, and you'd try to get out of that location. No, you never did. You're reciting memories of a hacker that you were cloned from. I'm convinced this guy's a hacker, seriously. But the clone of a hacker, because they realized they had the ability to clone. 20 years ago, they were cloning sheep. Then they realized they could hire hackers. So they hired one hacker and they said, could we take your DNA evidence? And then they cloned the guy. So they have all these other mock hackers that, like, please, Mr. David. He was raised in a test tube. Mr. Mike, are you for real? If you are, I can respect you. If you're not, I'm embarrassed for you. Don't block Mr. I'm not a hater. I just think you're a whack. Mr. Mike, you're a whack yourself. I'm for real, man. I'm the only real honest American left trying to fight for this country, and you come in and crap all over our show? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. How dare you? Oh, you are. You disbelieve everything. And you're looking at a guy who's been censored for 11 years and does a show every night, and that's entertainment, that draws a huge audience, and you don't know what to think. David, I have to buy my Angus roast pepper beef for $8.99 a pound today. Can you lower the prices when you're president? Yes, I am for real. Are you asking if I'm CGI? That's a more complex question. What if you're possibly dealing with a robot or an audio animatronic human being or possibly a clone? All these are mulling through your brain. But are you saying I'm a joke or something? I not only have every right to do what I do, I am compelled to do it out of principle because our country is so guided by corruption. How can any of you possibly support a guy who refuses to show his tax returns to the American people after saying, oh, I'll gladly show you my tax returns, no problem? What is wrong with you Republicans or Trump-tarticans that just, you don't want to recognize you're being lied to by this man? What's wrong with you? I'm sure some of you have been duped pretty hard with that mentality. You've probably been screwed and conned out of some weirdos in your own personal life. You just wondered why I was so gullible. I don't know. Are you for real? You're going with Trump. I'm going with you out of the show. Yeah. Anybody who openly supports Trump is an automatic ban. That's the criteria I have here now. If you don't realize that Trump is a complete and absolute liar, there's a new rule we're living by here. It's a new ban rule. I know this sounds kind of harsh, but yeah. Well, let's be clear. Gosh. If you can listen to Trump speak without thinking he sounds like an idiot, then you're an idiot. You think David is whack? What do you think of Trump? Yeah. So use this as the barometer for whether you should be in our show or not. Okay, now if you're still voting for Trump, then something's wrong with your brain, because there's more than enough evidence that he's corrupt. And if you're still a supporter of the Democratic Party, there's something wrong with your brain too, because they are corrupt too. Adam Schiff works for George Soros. They're not to be trusted, but they are the ones that are implementing the impeachment. I can't do it. I'm not a Democrat. Trump is a complete and absolutely corrupt, vile liar of the highest level. He openly stole 15 of my ideas, and you sit there and you ignore the fact that he openly stole 15 of my ideas. You just like blow it off. It's like, oh no, it's no big deal, Dave. This guy stole my ideas. Do you think he'd hesitate to take your life or your taxes? He's already killed 60, that we know of, 61 innocent people. Just about a month ago, 30 innocent peanut farmers in Afghanistan were killed, terminated by an unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. And prior to that, 3 years ago when Trump first became president, 8 days into his presidency, against military advice from all of his advisors, he said he wanted to attack these terrorists Turns out one of them was an 8-year-old girl that got hit by the UAV, and there were 30 others that were not terrorists. They were villagers. Your president has killed 61 people at least with his absurd, reckless collateral damage issue. My goodness. To think that he's a nice guy, you got to be kidding me. Okay, I'll play that later. Thanks for the link. Chemtrails are going to be recognized as a new cloud called Cumulus. I heard about this. The Cumulus cloud formations. Yes. It's the Cumulus cloud. It's known for its chemical and makeup. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you're going to have to wake up to. You voted for Trump, you were a fool. Please, Mr. David, you don't have a family. You didn't fail your family because, remember, you're a clone. No, I'm afraid not. Trump has become a kind of a mouth that keeps moving. Uncontrollable mouth, and all he does is say, it's all fake news, it's all a hoax, it's all a witch hunt, it's a scam, it's a scam. That's all he says, the same things over and over again, and you keep listening to it because that erases your brain. You don't actually have to listen to the allegations that are against him, that are popping up from 12 separate witnesses. Yeah. And as much as you want to call Adam Schiff a nutcase, he is working for Soros, I'll tell you that. But he's the only guy delivering a message that will in any way pull in the reins of a guy who's working for Russia. So in this instance, I'd rather side with the Democrats as they try to pull the reins of Russia down after they rigged our election, because Donald Trump denies that Russia did anything in our election. And you Trump supporters, you're